I don't have enough desk space. Can someone else write the timestamps this week?
Probably, yeah. Actually, my microphone's right in front of my keyboard.
Oh, for sake, fine, I'll write it.
I can also use my phone. Hunter's got paper. Does he have a pen?
No, with your microphone, we're not having that. You put that paper down. You put that paper down. Your audio's already a nightmare. I'm not having that shit in there. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I am your host for today, Ethan, and joining me is the boys, Kyle and Hunter. Hey, guys, how you doing?
I'm doing just swell.
You know, I've talked about Life is Strange so much I've become a Life is Strange character. You hate to see it, guys. You hate to see it. You know, I've had...
What's your power?
It's the power to bore people with my voice. That is my power. But no, you know, I've had these for weeks, but
Same.
I've been scared to wear glasses on the podcast again because, you know, I've had these glasses. How long have I had these glasses? I think these old glasses, I've had them for years. I feel like it's one of those things where they're like 5, 6 years old, so I'm actually scared of wearing glasses out in public. Is that weird? You guys won't know because you guys aren't really glasses wearers. Cal's a fake glasses wearer, like a Joker. But maybe you guys, if you wear glasses, you'll know the feeling of when you get new glasses. It's like a confidence boost, but it's also like a anxiety boost because you're just scared of people judging you, going, they don't suit you. So, hey.
No, man. I imagine it's like the same kind of feeling like when you get your hair cut.
Oh, yeah, that's why I've never experimented much with my hair, is because I've been terrified of that. But hey, welcome on in to another episode of the HGO podcast, where occasionally we talk about everything that we love in the world of gaming. Yeah, you can find us on podcast services by searching for Hot Gamers Only, or go to youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only to see our faces as we talk about gaming each and every week. Be sure to leave us a positive rating on your favourite podcast service if you don't mind. And also, if you have any feedback ever for the show, feel free to either tweet at us at Hot Gamers Only, leave it in the comments, or hey, even just shoot us an email at hotgamersonly@gmail.com. Either or, we'd love to hear some feedback from you so we know how to make this show better, so that we're not just shouting into an echo chamber every week. But hey, I don't think we have much housekeeping. The Life is Strange review's been late because I've been too busy with work. I am sorry. The script is done. Hunter and Kyle can attest. I did finish the script. It's done.
I did read the script. It was good.
It's done.
I acknowledge that he posted the script in the group chat.
Thank you, Kyle. You're always doing the most
Yeah,
work.
I haven't played the game.
Thank
I
you.
haven't played the game. I don't want spoilers.
Ah, fair enough.
That's why I didn't watch the spoiler cast either. Think
Right.
about it.
On
Well,
YouTube.
I mean, his script there keeps the spoilers closer to the chest than the trailers do.
Genuinely.
No, didn't read it.
Genuinely, that was
Dude,
my favorite.
Last week, I totally failed, by the way. My sister didn't realize a new Life is Strange game was out, and I didn't notice that she was watching the trailer until right after they said the spoiler. I'm like, no! Why didn't I give the warning?
Yeah, I still don't get that, but no, don't worry. If you haven't paid attention to all the Life is Strange stuff, be sure to check out a review either this week or next week, where I've done an amazing review, definitely great, that doesn't spoil anything. There is literally zero spoilers, even less than the Square Enix trailer, I can promise you that much. So, we'll have that to look forward to. But this week, we have a topic. We're doing a topic episode. We're not just going to sit here and talk about the 2 hours of a game that we've played this week. We have actually got a topic. I don't know how I'm clickbaiting this. Probably something along the lines of our favourite or best PS2 games of all time. Really, it's not that. It's more like our trash taste in PS2 video games. Because we have basically chosen the 9 PS2 games that have defined us, defined who we are, defined that generation to us, and we're going to share them. And we've not told each other what those are. It's the classic. This was a trend back in the day. It was called like the 3x3 trend, where you would post your 3x3 of your favorite anime or your favorite TV shows or your favorite movies for people to judge. And we're taking that idea that other podcasts have done, like Trash Taste.
I don't even know if I could come up with 9 anime to do that with.
Neither could I, to be honest, and all of them would be rom-coms, so I'd get the shit beaten out of me instantly, so it wouldn't be a great day. But yeah.
I mean, mine would all be normie shit like Bebop and Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
so
that is normie shit, to be fair.
that's where I stand.
I might have a better shock, 'cause they might be like, oh,
Alchemist,
you've got...
you know?
Yeah. They might just be like, you've got a load of trash, but some of it people haven't seen, so they'll be like, okay, respect. Whereas you're literally just... You're ticking off the my anime list top like 100. You just go tick through it. But hey,
dude, real talk, I don't actually even watch a lot of anime.
Neither do I.
Just don't watch a lot of TV in general, and I think that
Neither
a lot of
do
people
I.
just are surprised when I'm like, yeah, I don't watch anime much.
I don't. I like it, but it's the same with regular TV, where I very rarely watch TV or anime or movies because I'm either playing games. It's like this week, I just, speaking of today, I watched Free Guy, which is the first movie I've watched in like a month. And I very rarely watch movies. By the way, Free Guy, pretty decent movie, actually. I went in thinking it'd be shit, and I was like, damn it, it's actually quite good and charming. I hate it. It's like Truman Show meets the Lego movie. It's quite good. If you like games,
Nice.
you might enjoy that film, because it is about video games, and it's not cringy. It's the first video game movie I've watched where they're not being cringy about it. So, hey, it's pretty cool.
It's not like Pixels.
No, but it is quite funny. It's like GTA Online, though. It is quite funny. You literally, there's a moment where someone gets shot and someone starts teabagging them, and I just started giggling because I'm like, that's 100% how accurate the video game world
what
is.
would happen.
Yeah, exactly. There's some cool references, but no, I'd recommend it. But that's it. We're not talking about movies. We're here about PS2 games. So the way this is going to work is I have in my glasses case here 3 pieces of paper. I don't know whose is who. I'm going to shuffle them, not look and pick them out, and then we're going to choose that person. We've all posted them. No one's seen them. Are you scared? I'm terrified. I'm just going to shake this. I'm going to do it off camera. I'm going to do it off camera because I know people. I know what you guys are like. I've done it before. You gift it. I'm not doing it again. So, how are you guys feeling? Do you guys want to be first? I don't. Run me through it. Nothing? You got nothing?
Dude, this is
I mean,
terrifying.
you
This is
know.
like being back in school.
I feel
Like, all right,
no
kids,
threat.
who's presenting their project first?
Oh, yeah. So the idea here is we're just going to talk about your favourite games. You're going to defend them. You're basically putting yourself on trial, and we're going to judge you. Judge, jury, execution of the whole shebang. I went stupid with mine, so I really hope that I'm not going first. Right, okay, I've done it.
God, the
So
suspense.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Oh, let me do that. I'm going to do that, right? And I'm not going to look as I pick them out. So you can see that I'm going in random. I'm not picking one in particular, right? Am I... where the fuck... Where is it? Okay, I got one. Right, here we go. You are doomed. Right, there we go. No pressure. Right, I'm going to open it as
Lord.
well. Right, you ready? It's on camera. So, here we go. First person up is... Kyle. Can you read that?
Oh, goody.
Yeah, right. So, don't click on it yet.
Barely.
I need to get my phone open. Right. So, Kyle, you ready, Hunter?
Yep.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Right. Interesting.
So
it's
a
a-
few
it's
of
a-
those
it's a
are
fun
about
list.
what I was expecting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's an interesting list. Obviously, it'll be on screen
I
now.
feel like a lot of mine are like safe picks if you've watched a few episodes of the podcast.
yeah,
Or in
okay.
the case of that middle
yeah.
box, if you watched an entire month.
Okay, I'm gonna flat out say it, dude. This is the safest
Alright.
fucking like list that you could pick. Like
Yeah.
I was
The only reason Shrek 2 is safe is because you and I know him
Mhm.
and know that he like messed with that. But
yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah.
It's a childhood game, my guy.
right.
I gave you what you asked for. What more do you want from
Okay,
me?
right. I do want to say here that Kyle has very much fucking cheated because I did give 3 specific rules, and one of them was 1 game per franchise and developer, and
he breaks it twice.
He's broken it twice. So
Hold on, where'd I break it twice?
Well, you've
Oh,
got the
Capcom.
whole of Xenosaga.
yeah,
And then you have
Persona 4 and 3.
Persona 4 and 3.
See, I count. Okay, let me just let me
This
just
is
talk y'all
bullshit.
through
This is fucking bullshit.
So I counted the Xenosaga trilogy as one thing.
Fuck off. Actually, fuck
No.
off.
No, fuck you.
Okay then, I'm classing the whole Sly trilogy as a fucking game. This is bullshit. This is actually bullshit. Like this is like 20 years ago, the PS4 games that defined you and going, I've gone with the whole fucking quintology of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, no, this is not okay. This is bullshit. We'll get to it. Anyway, I should read it for audio listeners. So his list is Devil May Cry 3, Sly 2, Kingdom Hearts 2, Persona 4 and 3 Cheetah, Xenosaga 1, 2 and 3 Cheetah, Okami, Katamari Damacy, Shrek 2, and Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. Hunter, where do you want to start with the judgment? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I've never heard anything about Katamari Damacy, so tell me why that matters to you.
That is a weird pick, honestly, because like a lot of people would be thinking, I bet you are if you're watching and you don't really know us that well. You're probably thinking, Shrek 2, that's a weird one, but to me and Hunter, that's like the most normie pick that he could make. I think we both guaranteed that Shrek 2 was on there, right, Hunter? We both knew that going in.
Yeah.
So,
although I thought he played the GameCube version.
Yeah. But anyway. So,
I have both.
Of course he does. Of course he fucking does.
Of course you do.
Hey, dude, speed running.
So yeah, let's start with Katamari then. So
we've done dumber things for speed running.
True. Why did you pick Katamari, Cal?
I don't know. It's just like this really. It's a game that's always just been super fascinating to me, in the more of the sense of like, how did that happen? Because like the general concept is you start off as like you're basically rolling a ball around, just eating everything in like a room. And the ball starts small, and then as you get more shit on the ball gets bigger, until eventually you're just like plowing through the streets with a giant ball.
Nice.
Absorbing more shit.
It's like the most destructive snowball in history.
Yeah.
Like, the whole game itself as a concept is just so fascinating to me.
It reminds me, there was this indie game a couple years ago called like Donut County that you start off as like this hole, I believe. And you just expand. And it's kind of the same premise where it's just start small and then destroy.
Yeah. Like, I've always seen Katamari, like, I've seen people play it all the time on, like, Twitch or YouTube or whatever, and it's always been that one weird game where I'm like, how the fuck did so many people know about this? Like, genuinely. Like, people are like, oh yeah,
for real?
Katamari, part of my childhood. I'm like, fucking how? I never heard of this until I came across it on the internet. Like, how the fuck did all of you go, oh yes, random game where you make big ball, yes, that's my cup of tea as an 8-year-old, if I go. Like, crazy to me.
And also, it's just like the perfect game to show to somebody who doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah. It genuinely, it is kind of like, they were high when they made that game. They genuinely, when they concepted that game,
absolutely.
They were high as fuck. Genuinely.
No question in my mind.
But no, like, even that's a weird pick. I wouldn't expect it in like your 9 games. Is there a reason why it impacted you so much, or it is part like why you put it on this list, or was it just like, yeah, that's kind of weird, it's kind of an oddball?
It's just like a concept that's so out there that it just always stuck with me, you know?
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it, but it is one of those games wherever I see people talk about it, I'm like, I'm putting you on a list, you know? Like, if you had Katamari in your life as a child or whatever, or growing up, I'm like, I'm writing you down. You need to go get tested for something because you bought Katamari on the PS2. I'm like, but hey, I respect it. It's cool. I'm saving Shrek. Shrek's a story in itself, and I'm Budokai. We'll save those for a bit. Shall we just go? Let's just go with I'm gonna go with, to me, there's 2 picks on here that are particularly up your alley, which I would have expected already. Let's start with Devil May Cry, because we've talked about Devil May Cry 3 enough on this fucking podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to give a reason why
that
it's
game
on
that you played on the Switch?
Hey, dude, it's a PS2 game.
He's a fake and a fraud with this list. He has literally scrambled his way through this.
All right.
That's not even the special edition. It doesn't look like. You don't even know the pain of the original version of this game.
You're a fake and a fraud.
Yeah, dude, fake fan.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's okay.
Why Devil May Cry 3 then, Carl?
It's just fun. It's just a fun fucking game. It's a nice game to just like sit down with, be in and out in an afternoon.
Yeah.
Not much else to say. Like, it's very
talked...
replayable. It's like, yeah, and I've talked about this game enough on the podcast.
Too much, some people would say, and by some people I mean me. I'm so sick of this fucking game, and I know there's a Devil May Cry on Hunter's list as well, and I'm gonna fucking hate that moment as well.
Yeah.
Because,
dude, you should give it a shot.
I don't get
it's
it.
A good game.
Like, I genuinely don't. Like, it's one of
Have
those
you
games.
tried playing it?
Yeah, but it's. I've played other games in that genre and I don't click with them. I've played Bayonetta 1 and 2 and I'm like, they're fine. But to me, I feel like the whole point of like these kinds of hack and slash linear games is the replay value, right? It's getting good at it.
Yeah.
And that's not what I'm about. I am literally a one and done person for most games in my life. I will play through the campaign, the story mode, whatever you want to call it. whatever they decide to call it, and I'll go through it and I'll go, oh yeah, that was cool, and move on. It's like Bayonetta. I never really clicked with Bayonetta because the gameplay's fine, but as soon as I hit that credit screen, I'm like, well, bouncing, because there's no in my head. There's no will to go and get better at it. I'm a completionist. I'm not a perfectionist. Wow.
I am
Put that on a
a
t-shirt.
one and done. I'm very much a one and done kind of person too. In most cases, Devil May Cry is one of the very few series that actually, for whatever reason, the gameplay is good enough to motivate me to be good at it.
Yeah. But yeah, it is just one of those things where it doesn't click with me. But no, fair enough. Hunter, you can pick the next one. We'll do it back and forth between which ones you want to go for.
Boy.
Right,
Which one do you want to talk about next?
All right. Okami. Let's go with that one. Just cross the other Capcom game off the list.
I could have guessed this one as well.
Yeah.
To be fair,
That's a good
I
one.
could have guessed the whole of this. There are no, like, for example,
Probably.
I can guarantee when we get to mine, there are at least 3 that no one would guess. Genuinely, I've never brought them up in conversation. Or if I have, it was for a meme. Anyway, go on, Kyle. Okami. I've heard this is a game that you've tried to get me to play multiple times, and I've laughed at you because it's so long, though.
It's a Zelda-like.
You know,
It's like
my
40
feeling on
hours.
Zelda. 40 hours is too many hours for my monkey brain. We'll get to it. I've been playing Skyward Sword recently, and I'm like 3 hours in,
Why?
and I'm already getting into that point where I'm like, do I just not like Zelda? Like, I love the story in the game. Like, I love the story, right? And I love the world. But just the actual gameplay of Zelda, I'm just like, it's so boring. So sell me on Okami, Kyle. Why should I care?
All right. So, started off, it's a Zelda-like I said. Oh, kind of pretty open world exploration-ish. The game kind of keeps you on a bit of a leash though, but just to keep you more focused on the story path. Heavily inspired by Japanese mythology, which is big plus
The
in my
main
book.
character is Amaterasu.
Correct. You play as a dog. It's pretty fantastic. Later in the game, you get a dedicated piss button.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Yo, did Hideo
think
Kojima
I
make that
ever
video game? Holy shit.
I don't think I ever got to that part.
Nice. But anyway, is that literally all you're going to say? It's
Yeah.
got a piss button. Is that,
No,
is that your sales pitch? It has a piss
piss
button?
button. End of story.
Yeah.
No.
It works for Death Stranding.
The game itself is split into 3 different story arcs that are all pretty independent of each other. Once you're done with one bit of the world, you don't really go back to it unless it's for a side quest. But I don't know, it's a game that I played when I was in 7th grade, and just something about it really clicked with me. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the world, the music, or the art style, or all of it just working together, but the game's just really good. It's hard for me to explain because it's been so long since I've actually played the game, but
no.
I started this game last year and didn't finish it. Things came out, but I don't know. It was one of those ones where I wasn't exactly itching at the opportunity to play it more when I didn't have things to play.
Which is
anyhow.
interesting because you're a
I can't
big
really-
Zelda head.
I am. So.
A breed I'll never understand. A breed I'll never understand. I genuinely, it's one of those things where I respect it, but it's I don't get it, at all. Also,
I'm right
Hunter,
there with
I don't
you,
know
Ethan.
what your webcam's
Uh-oh.
doing there.
I'm gonna shut this off and turn it back on.
Please do. Also, please, can I mute? Thank you. Someone's trying to message me, and I was like, oh no, please mute.
But no, Ethan, I'm right there with you with not understanding Zelda heads. It's I liked Majora's Mask, and really that's about it.
It's I like the world, I like the story, right? I get Hyrule, I like it a lot. It's the gameplay loop of Zelda likes that I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Because it's this mix of barren world with the most simplistic of combat that just doesn't do anything for me. It is literally fucking wacky sword. Like, and it's just like, and the puzzles are it. I don't know what it is. It's just nothing ever clicked for me with Zelda. Breath of the Wild clicked with me because there was actual gameplay to it. There was open world exploration. It was kind of like thinking about it. The puzzles weren't just here's arbitrary order of buttons to press or here's the correct route for a dungeon. It was genuinely like, okay, think about this puzzle. There's like 20 ways to solve it, and you can guarantee you won't ever do the right one. So that's what's always put me off. Zelda likes, but hey, if you like Okami, maybe one day I'll try it. Who knows? Can't promise anything.
Maybe I'll get back to it someday.
Yeah. So Sly 2. Shall we talk about Sly 2? I feel like this. I'm just gonna flat out spoil it. This is also on my list in a bit, but the reasons that it's on here for me will probably be a lot different to you. So let's just talk about it. Why have you put Sly 2 on there?
So this was probably my biggest surprise to me to put on this list. If you asked me like a year ago to do this, I probably would have put Sly 3 on here. Sly 3 or Sly 1. Because
that's why I was comfortable with putting Sly 2 on my list, because I thought you were going to put 3. Not going to lie.
So, I played the Sly series backwards. I started with 3, ended at 1, and never touched 4. I need to get that out there. Never owned a PS3, couldn't play 4.
Interesting.
So 2 was always just this weird middle child to me, where it wasn't as in-depth as 3, and it felt to me like Sly, like the character Sly, his gameplay wasn't as tight as it was in the first one, because he was the only playable character in the first one. But recently, I've been replaying the trilogy. Holy cow, I underrated Sly 2 as a kid.
Hell yeah.
Like, I can't even explain it. Like, it's just, everything works.
It's so good.
I think the biggest thing that put me off the game as a kid was definitely episodes 2 and 3, where you're playing in Rajan's worlds. Those worlds are awful.
I liked the second one. The third one I've never been a fan of, but
the second one I tolerated on the playthrough, but the third one, it's miserable if you're not playing with Sly.
Yeah.
It's so vertical, and moving around with anybody else is impossible.
Yeah. To me, my least favorite world was always Contessa. What was it? Contessa 1 or Contessa? No, it's Contessa 2. I like the Contessa's worlds, but they're both far too similar to each other, whereas Rajan 1 and 2 feel like two different areas, right?
Yeah.
Jean Basson's 2 levels are just fucking great, period. Like, even though they're similar, they're both fucking excellent. Whereas Cassandra's are both very similar. They have very similar aesthetics, but the whole setup and how 4 works is just so unique that by the time you get to 5 and it's just this fucking weird war in a kind of Castlevania-styled world, it's like, it's not like hitting me as much. But anyway, continue.
I do like the setup of the first Contessa episode, where it's just you start with just Bentley, and you have to get Sly and Murray back.
Yeah, and you don't get Murray back until the end of the episode. So
yeah,
it's always been good, but no.
And even then after you get Sly back, it's just you play a Sly after that.
Yeah, it very much is.
It's interesting.
Bentley stuff, then Sly stuff, then Murray. Yeah, at the end, it's
a nice change of pace from the usual formula. That they had done for the last few chapters. But also, I need to mention the villain and the fake villain. Arpeggio? Like, he's a joke. Yeah. He gets fridged in his own chapter.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But it's also on purpose. It's not like...
it is on purpose.
Then the game, it's not a thing where you're like shocked that it happens. It's something that you're very much like, this is gonna happen. It's
and they gave him a good motivation for what he was doing. He's basically the leader of the Claw Gang, and he was collecting the clockwork parts so that he could control clockwork.
Yeah,
because he can't fly. Arpeggio can't fly. He's a flightless bird.
Yeah,
but he is basically a master engineer.
And
I think that's super cool as a
He
concept.
basically just had a terrible body. Like, everyone else grew up around him, and he was still the size he was when he was a kid, and he couldn't fly. Yeah.
But I just think that's super cool as a concept, even if he got fridged.
And also
before
just
the
his
chapter
whole
even started.
and just his whole plan in general of basically having all the Claw Gang being intentional pawns, as if he intended for them all to have their own downfall, so that he could get the parts all for himself, was essentially a plan, which was like very cool. But no, I'll talk about Sly 2. We'll talk about Sly 2 more later, I guess. Mine's more personal, but go on.
I just super underrated this game as a kid. I just thought it was like very okay, and I never really replayed it. But having done this more recent playthrough, like I get why people would call it their favorite.
Yeah.
And now apparently I do too.
Very cool.
So
I agree. No critiques. I can't really say anything extra because then it'll make my fucking point later moot. So
I mean, if you just want to get it out now.
No, we'll save it for later.
Okay. Okay.
We'll save it for later. Go on, Hunter.
Oh, I guess next we'll talk about Kingdom Hearts 2.
Go on. Is this finally my time?
No, what are you going to say, Ethan?
Pardon? The more I think of Kingdom Hearts 2, the more I fucking hate this video game. And I don't like... And by hate, I don't mean like it's awful video. I think Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of the most overrated PS2 games ever made, because I think that Kingdom Hearts 1 is the better game. And I think the gameplay of Kingdom Hearts... Yes. Yeah. I think Kingdom Hearts 2's gameplay is good, the rest of it is garbage. I genuinely believe that. I think its story is terrible, I think its worlds are terrible. There's just...
Oh, I'm inclined to agree with you on that.
Other than the gameplay
However,
being better...
I only care about the gameplay, so...
See, I don't, because it's a fucking Disney game about fucking Disney worlds and story. Like, it's not like... I didn't go for that. Like, most people, I didn't go to that for gameplay. You might go into it and go, oh, god damn, the gameplay's good. But what I went into Kingdom Hearts for was a Disney story about Disney worlds and stuff like that. And the worlds suck, and the game and the story fucking sucks as well. So, to me... Kingdom Hearts 1 is the better game, even though it has the clunkier combat system. I'll never disagree that Kingdom Hearts 2's combat is like miles better than any other game in the series. I'll never disagree with that, but it's just the rest of it, to me, falls flat. Anyway, tell me why you love it, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
I mean, it's basically for what you said. Like, yeah, the worlds are tiny and linear and boxy, and the story isn't anything to write home about because it's convoluted as hell, but it's the gameplay that just keeps bringing me back
for no reason whatsoever. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the gameplay keeps bringing me back in. Everything about it is so tight, it all works super well together. Like, it just has this nice flow to combat where everything has a purpose, and it never feels like anything gets obsoleted by something else. It feels like no matter what point in the game you're at, you'll always have a tool to use for a battle. And I think that's super, super awesome.
You see, it's one of those games where I agree, but it's also a game that isn't particularly hard.
Yeah.
So...
If you're just playing through beginner, like, there's no reason for you to... The game doesn't give you a reason
There's no reason to learn for standard
any
either.
of that.
There's no reason to learn for standard either. I literally went through that game mashing and doing whatever I felt like. It's the thing with Kingdom Hearts to me is, again, it's one of those completionist versus perfectionist, where it's like, I don't care about perfecting a combat system. I'm here. The combat system is the means that I get through, right? So if the game has the option of not learning anything because you can very easily button mash, and most of the bosses in this game, except obviously secret bosses are different, but the main linear bosses, except for a couple, are absolute piss takes that you can beat most of the time first try by just fucking mashing. There's never been a reason for me to even care about the combat in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, I understand why people like it, and for replay value, it's great. But to me, if you're going in for that one and done ride, and you're just in it for playing Kingdom Hearts, then to me, 1 is the one that, like, if someone was like, I'm going to play a Kingdom Hearts game, which one should you play? I would always say 1. Because that's where you're getting your story, your characters. That's where you're getting the worlds that actually feel like worlds and not fucking cardboard boxes. Especially how you have to go to each one twice. I don't know who fucking came up with that, but it's like, I didn't want to go once, never mind twice.
Yeah.
I mean, the revisits are at least short.
Yeah, but
if
they're
nothing
still,
else.
like-
Well, yeah, but why are they there is the thing.
People always
Like,
say Kingdom Hearts
I
3
felt that way about
pads,
the
dude.
first
Yeah.
game, and like it's just padding in it is annoying. It's interesting for me because I've also only played Kingdom Hearts 2 once, but it was my favorite one. I think mostly just because like the highs of the boss fights and whatnot stuck with me, even if they weren't particularly hard. Like I'm never gonna forget the Xemnas fight, or like that one. I think it was the second Pride Lands visit with the giant one that you're like jumping on or whatever.
I
Ground Shaker.
I forgot Pride Lands already, dude. I fucking hate that world.
The second Mulan boss fight with the other thing that you're climbing on.
Oh yeah, the Storm Rider. Yeah.
Remember that? Oh, I don't
So,
know.
Yo,
those
Ethan,
things.
is it time for a replay?
No, I'm never.
Those
replaying that game.
things
Hell
stick
yeah.
with me more, and like, I don't really care particularly about the story of any of the Kingdom Hearts things. It's all very much just a roller coaster that I observe rather than that. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of It's just one of those games where I think, for better or for worse, the fans have ruined it. Where they scream so
True.
passionately and violently that it makes me take any, like, if you listen to Kingdom Hearts 2 fans, it's the perfect video game. And going into it, I can tell you it's not the perfect video game. It has a great combat system, but everything around it is not far from perfect. So, although the part where
it's
Goofy
got like
dies
a
is very
3-hour
funny.
prologue.
Yeah.
That is.
That's really terrible, but the Goofy dying is funny.
Yeah.
It is
so
funny.
7 out of 10.
I'll pay for this.
Yes,
So-
Mickey, I believe you.
We've got like 4 games left, right? Or is it? Yeah, we got 4 games left. Persona, like, pick one. Fucking pick one. Fucking
I
pick one.
genuinely can't.
Fucking pick one right now.
So, on my original draft, I just had Persona 4. It was the first
Well,
one
there
I
you go.
played.
Well,
It's
there
the
you
one
go.
I feel the most attached to.
Well, there you go.
But
There we go.
I put Persona 3 on here also because of recency bias, and also
Recency
game's really
bias. It
good.
sounded like you didn't
Yeah,
like
you
playing
fucking
it that
hated it.
much.
when did I ever say I hated P3?
When you got to the end, you were like, "Oh, I'm sick
done
of
with
this
this
game."
shitty
Rawr.
combat. That's what you said. You're like, I'm done with this.
I don't recall this.
Yes,
It's-
you
I know what
literally,
happened.
you literally were like, I'm done with this fucking combat. You were like, I was done. I'm like,
Gotta roll the dice on the party AI there.
yeah, I'm sure the
Like-
story of P3 is great. I've said it before. I've tried playing it, and it's just the combat and and Tartarus is so shit that I'm just like, no. Like, I've seen so many people on Twitter again saying Persona 3 doesn't need a remake, and I'm like, this bitch does need a remake.
Yes, it does.
It needs a fucking remake. It needs a revamp, dude. It needs more than a remake, dude. Like, literally, I want you to take the outside bit of all the characters and stuff, make that look nice and pretty, make that work like the P5 confidant system, make that extra spicy, then take Tartarus and literally rethink that shit and then come back to me and then I'll play it. Sound good? Very cool. Literally rethink that whole idea because it's shit. It's worse than Mementos. And I'm like,
Yikes.
no. Because at least in Mementos you could run shit over. Like that, at least you could do that. But,
Thank you, Ryuji.
so I'm just going to make the choice for you, Kyle. So why is Persona 4 on your list?
All right, so I put Persona 4 on here because, yeah, like I said, it's the first one I played, and also, it's just like, it's very personal to me because I'm somebody who grew up in a very small town, very just a very quaint part of New Hampshire, in Quietsville, New Hampshire. Not a real place, don't look it up. But,
It's
I've
right
got
next to
it.
Silent Hill.
Now we'll DDoS him. We got him. He's in Quietsville.
the
That's
city
what a
of
quiet place was
Townsville.
about.
Exactly. Anyway.
But no, just like the location, like the whole town of Inaba, it just really hit home for me. Just like a very small personal town where like everybody knows everybody. It's just like I love the cast. The cast all They're fantastic.
Even cheating.
I'm waiting for there it is.
50% of it's
Except
very
for
good.
Chie.
50% of it's very good.
That is an opinion that you
Well,
have.
I'm just saying, Naoto, Kanji, and Rize are great. That's all I'm saying. There's another half to that cast, but we don't talk about those guys.
I like Teddy, too.
Oh, Teddy's a fucking champion. Sorry about Teddy. Teddy, I'm sorry. Teddy, I'm so sorry I chucked you in with the fucking degenerates. I'm sorry.
To be fair, you did spend like the first half of your time with the game hating Teddy.
Yeah, but then when he birthed himself
then Teddy
anew,
gets a personality.
When he birthed himself anew, like a
Man
phoenix
grew himself
rising
a
from
body.
the ashes. Like, yeah. Absolutely excellent. But no, like, my thing with P4 is I give P4 a lot of shit. I do like P4 quite a lot. It's funny because I also grew up in the small town in a countryside, and I related I related with 5 more because I have anxiety and I'm a very introverted person. And when I was young, I went to a high school where I knew nobody, where it was like I was just chucked into a high school in a city where I knew absolutely nobody because all of my friends went to different places. So I very much bonded with that whole idea of being an outcast and feeling like nobody cares about you rather well. Whereas in Persona 4, it is one of those, it's a town where everybody knows you. It's kind of like we've been talking with Life is Strange Hunter of this kind of small town place where everybody knows your name. But at the same time,
crossover that would be.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like everyone's too nice. I feel like everybody's too nice. That's my problem with it. Is everybody's too eager to be nice to you and be like. I remember moving to a new place.
I mean, there's
and people
murders
not
going
caring.
on, but you know.
Yeah, but that's like
There's a murderer,
yeah,
but
that's
you know.
just one villain that we both that we disagree on, and that's the main reason that I do not like Persona 4 is the villain. We've made this.
You know, it's really stupid that we've had so many episodes where like we don't know what to do, and we've still neglected to do a Persona 4 episode.
Because I feel like that is literally just going to be you
whack.
sitting there while me and Kyle just scream at each other about how we disagree on this one point for 45 minutes. And we're both going to come out of it going, yeah, I guess we're at an impasse. Because that's going to be the episode. It's just, Kyle's going to be like, I like the Persona 4 villain. And I'll be like, I've had shits that would be a better villain than the P4 villain. And we're just going to be fighting at that constantly. And I respect people, like, I'm like, fair enough. If you like the villain, good for you, because then you like P4 more than me, and that's great. I still like P4 because I think there's some good character stuff in there. I think there's some very progressive stuff in P4. There's some very fucking yikes stuff in P4, but also some of the stuff that they do.
It's amazing
is
how
rather progressive.
It's amazing how the pendulum swings in that game.
Genuinely,
yeah.
The fact that they can do stuff about like gender dysphoria, but also then have Yosuke, who is like genuinely, I don't hate gay people, but it's kind of crazy. Like, it's kind of fucking wacky. But no, I like P4's. I like P4 a lot, but I'm glad that you like it more than me. That's my thing. I'm glad that people love P4. I wish I could love it as much as everyone else does, but I just like it. Unfortunately, what a terrible thing. Hunter,
how dare you only feel lukewarm about a video game?
Right, it's not lukewarm. It is more positive than negative, but it's mainly the villain. Right, if I liked the villain, I'd love the game. That's my main problem. Is the villain killed it for me? That was my main problem with it. I could take Yosuke and Chie and Yukiko fine if that villain was good for me, but it wasn't. So I sleep.
Out of curiosity, did you finish the social link with the villain?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Just
it's one of those.
curious.
It's one of those things where, unlike P5R, where I was glad that they added a social link for the villain, I wish that they hadn't had a social link for the villain in P4 because it made it far too obvious. It made it far too obvious. Like it's one of those things where, hey, Alice, if you're listening for Persona 6, do not have a social link with the fucking villain. Just don't. It gives it away. Because if you're guessing, you basically give people a list through the game where you can go, right, who's the villain, and look through each fucking profile picture and go, it's you.
Their play seems to be not having it in the base version and then adding it for their special edition.
Yeah, or they have it as a story one. Just get rid of story confidants. Get rid of them. They don't do anyone a genuine service. Don't do it. Anyway, we got a couple of games left. Technically, we've got 4 games left because Kyle's a cheater again.
Yeah.
Hunter, which one?
Hey, man. Do you want me to choose between my children?
We will make you choose between your children in a second.
I mean, if you just want to get it out of the way right now.
No, apparently we're going to Shrek 2 world, right?
Tell
everyone the
goody.
Backstory behind Shrek 2.
So this was actually a game that I grew up with.
Same.
This is a game from my childhood.
I actually did grow up with it too. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a solid video game. And by that I mean it's held together with glue and duct tape because 6-year-old Kyle could break it open. But, you know.
Oh, man.
Yo, Kyle, is Kyle's webcam still frozen for you? It's frozen for me.
Yes, it is.
What's up?
Your webcam froze. You kind of died halfway through.
Please.
Oh,
he's a cone. With a big old smile.
There you go. Hi, Kyle.
He's a cone.
Take your drink.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Anyways.
Shrek 2.
So Shrek 2 is a game from my childhood. Fantastic video game. Basically how it works is you go through the story of Shrek 2. It's 11 levels. And each level is... You have 4 characters you can swap between freely at any time.
Mm-hmm.
They all travel together in like this little pack. And you can also do multiplayer with that. It's 4-player multiplayer. I never owned a multi-tap, so I never got to play that. But, you know, the 2-player multiplayer I played was pretty fun.
Yeah, same.
And so really, I haven't seen another game with this kind of gameplay in it, where you've got 4 characters and you can freely swap between them at any time, each one with their own like strengths and weaknesses. I know it's kind of like DK64, but DK64 was terrible because you had to go to a barrel to switch.
I want to say there was an Avatar game.
No,
that did that.
I wasn't thinking of that. I'm trying to think. There's a game that I feel like you're describing that I...
Was Marvel's Avengers like this?
No, you had to go in.
No,
as a character. No.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't played it yet. I own it because we haven't told that story on the podcast yet. But the Disney store in the UK was closing, so I literally got a fucking copy of the game for like $5. But no, I'm trying to think. It's kind of similar to Lego games let you do that in free play, right? Where you can just kind of hop swap.
Yeah.
Right.
But there was a game that I thought of that I just can't think of. But in terms of like actual gameplay style, it reminds me a lot of the gosh, what's that game called? I know Sam really liked it on the PS2, but it had that kind of top-down kind of action kind of perspective.
Gauntlet?
Gauntlet, that's it. It kind of reminds me of Gauntlet's kind of gameplay in a way. But no, everyone might know, some people might know that you have a career of speedrunning Shrek 2.
I do. I had a world record at one point.
He did.
A world Shrekkard, if you would.
Oh, nice.
God fucking damn it, that's good. I like it. World Shrekkard, fucking hell.
Thank you.
That's so dumb. But yeah, you had a world Shrekkard and a very good time. But no, I also grew up with Shrek 2. I did not put it on my list because I knew Cal would put it on his. But it is surprisingly...
I'm glad you know me so well, Ethan.
It's one of those games where it's genuinely one of the rare, good cash grab
it's
movie
a lot
games.
better than you'd think it would be.
Yeah. And it actually has quite a bit of personality to it as well, with its voice acting and the cutscenes and stuff like that. Like the things that it has in it.
It does. If you can get like a bunch of friends together and just like take the piss out of the game, like I'm sure you'd have a great time.
Cool. So
and like I said, it's not a hard game to find problems in, to find glitches in.
Yeah.
I remember when I told Sam to get this game on his first playthrough on stream, he broke it without even trying. Like, his game genuinely, like, crashed.
Nice.
Amazing.
And that was in the first level.
Excellent.
It was amazing.
So, speaking of speedrunning, we'll just do this tie. Obviously, some people might also know you do speedruns of Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
Correct.
Why
had a world
3?
record in that as well.
Why 3?
So, 3 is just the first game, but more refined.
Okay.
That's genuinely it. It's a better combat system, a more, like, everything's a lot more fluid. Instead of, like, your special moves can be done with just, like, a button press, instead of needing to memorize, like, a combo string to do it. Like, everything's just so streamlined and simplified. The game has a really nice flow to it. It's just so... It's what I liked about the first game, but better.
Fair enough.
So, and like, can briefly talk about the first game. The first game is what I grew up with, playing that with my siblings.
I mean, if you want to.
Yeah. First game is just what I grew up with, and then I didn't pick up the third game until my senior year of high school, when my local game store got it in stock. And I'm like, so I played that over my spring break.
Oh, nice.
For like a few days, because my parents were out of the country for that week.
Oh no.
And I'm like, well, shit.
Oh,
here we go.
I've been left alone. Time to spend my time playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Let's go.
I mean, friends were also around.
No,
like I didn't just do that.
Just shut in. It's Dragon Ball time, bitches. I'm out. Goodbye, society.
I mean, that was
his friends were like, pass
really
me the
quick.
sticks.
That was actually a really solid week for game releases, because that same week, Pokken came out on the Wii U and Xenoblade Chronicles got released on the Wii U's eShop. So
Pokken.
I was eating good that week.
God, someone was. The Wii U fans.
And I don't know why I remember that.
But yeah, fair enough. I don't have anything to add to Dragon Ball. I've never been a Dragon Ball person, so I have nothing to say.
I never had the Budokai on its own. I had the Tenkaichi ones that I think they did after just the Budokai games. I think that was the one with the more 3D movement where you could fly and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Closer to like what Xenoverse is. I had one of those. I can't remember which one, but yeah. The Dragon Ball Z games don't seem to have evolved very much in the past several years, aside from now having Super to add to with their more stuff. Still very much the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair enough. And then obviously, finally, you got Xenosaga. Which one are you picking? You faking a fraud?
You're really gonna make me choose between my children.
Yes, I'm really gonna make you fucking choose. I gave you a rule. it's not like I've duped you in and I'm like, well, time to sacrifice. I gave fucking 3 rules and you broke it. You were like, yeah, fuck it. Technically, you broke 2 of them because I said no, saying from the same franchise or from the same dev, and you did both technically.
I mean, to be fair, with the Capcom thing, it's only really the same publisher.
No, I'm not counting that. I'm just saying that Persona 3 and 4 have the same dev and are in the same franchise.
Right, okay.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, go on. It's 1 or 3. It's not 2. I know that much.
Yeah, you do know that much.
Which one is
I'd
it?
probably give it to 1.
Okay.
I'd probably give it to 1.
Right. Reason?
Oh, heck. Reason?
Yeah, no pressure.
Go watch the video where I talked about it.
Wow, well, great reason. I mean, we are 48 minutes into the podcast already, and we're not even a third of the way through.
Yeah, seriously, this has been going on for a long time.
I knew it'd be a lot. Well,
Xenosaga's fantastic. Go play Xenosaga.
Yeah, that's
my reason.
That's fair enough. Do you have anything to add?
It's a science fiction RPG where someone has a regular gun. Those always crack people up.
Yeah, dude. Dude just walks around with dual pistols and he's like 2 feet tall.
I mean, I don't have much to add because I haven't played them, but I don't know. There's something about just the bit that I have seen where I'm like, this intrigues me a bit more than the Xenoblade games have.
Interesting.
Just on like...
It's a space opera, dude. It's great.
Very poggers.
We got robots.
Okay. Heck yeah. Let's go. I guess my final question, Kyle, is this PNG that you sent me, does that have a translucent background or is that a white background? I'm gonna smack you. The fact that you're saying is already fighting hands. I gave you basically, guys. I gave them a transparent template so I wouldn't have to do any work. And I'm looking at this, and I can guarantee that Cal's gonna make me fucking do work.
No, I can do the work.
Okay, cool. And with that was.
I know how to do background removal and paint.
There you go. That was Cal's list. Well done, Kyle.
All right.
Your interrogation is over. Like
Hooray,
I say,
I'm gonna go get water.
You go get hot water. I don't know about you, Hunter. Now we can chat shit. He's gone. Right, that was a garbage list. I think you played it pretty safe, don't you? There's nothing on there other than Katamari that would scream to me.
So safe he couldn't even pick between some of them.
Yeah. There you go. So safe. He literally left himself in a crossroad. So, Hunter, how are you feeling after that first one? Are you more nervous for your picks? Are you less nervous?
No, I mean, you can probably guess at least half of mine, but...
Well, I mean, if like, at least Devil May Cry showing up again, so at least we won't have to have a 6-minute discussion on Devil May Cry. You know what I'm saying? Like, get that shit out of here. Dude. I'm not. Now he's back. Well, fun over, guys. Guess we'll have to carry on with the actual podcast.
All right, who are we bullying next?
I haven't picked yet, but I'm going to. So here we go.
Damn, dude, what the heck? I was gone for like 30 seconds. Thought you'd have it figured out by now.
We got him. Right. Or do I do the other one? Do we do like a deal or no deal where it's like trade? Do you want a trade offer?
Oh
This
my
is the one we
god.
got?
And just read the paper.
Okay, we're just gonna read the paper. Right, you ready? No cheating. It is Hunter.
That's me.
Damn it! Now
This is
now it
bullshit.
looks like I've rigged it.
This is
I was
bullshit.
hoping I was the middle one. I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping I was the middle one because I was like, okay, well, I guess we're doing Hunter. Well, next time I'll rig it in my favor, I guess, and come second. Right. Anyway, are you ready, Kyle? Are you hovering over it?
Yep.
Ready? In 3, 2, 1, click. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am gonna get bullied so hard in 25 minutes. Okay. Oh, okay. I went very much in on mine. So
You do the homework wrong, Ethan.
No, I did the homework right. You two weren't fucking pussies. That's what I've learned. This is like
Listen, man, I picked the things that stuck in my
we
head
like
the
what we
most.
like. Yeah.
Right. So, for those of you who are audio listeners, let me read out these wonderful games. You've got Devil May Cry 1. You've got Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. You've got Silent Hill 2. Is that what's the subtitle of
Yeah, that's
Silent
Silent Hill 2.
Okay, Silent Hill 2. Final Fantasy X. Dark Cloud. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Crash Tag Team Racing.
That's the one I had an
Hell
eyebrow
yeah.
raise at.
A man of culture, I see. Tony Hawk's Underground and God of War 2. I am so getting bullied in 30 minutes. I am so getting bullied.
I'm sorry I don't have any movie tie-ins to shuffle in here. My bad.
Dude, you should play the Finding Nemo game.
I had to find a Nemo
Ethan
game,
and I
dude.
couldn't
Yeah.
beat it.
It was fucking hard, dude. We had to carry around those stupid fucking like pearls or whatever, the different coloured pearls, and you stupid fucking game. Hate that. Also, I've not been doing timestamps very well, so unlucky podcast listeners because I keep forgetting to write a timestamp down. So, where do you want to start, Cal? You can choose. You've been through the gauntlet, so you can choose.
I really want to just know. Let's start with Crash.
Okay.
Crash
Okay.
Tag Team Racing.
So
I'm just
by no
very
means am I
curious.
claiming that this is the best PS2 Crash game, because I like Twin Insanity more, but I have stronger memories associated with Tag Team Racing. I vividly remember the Christmas I got it. There was a period in time when we had the PS2 that we lost the memory card for it.
Oh no.
So anytime I wanted to play this game, we had to like leave the PlayStation on.
Nice.
Oh, classic.
Either that or it was learning the first world several times,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And, I don't
Kids
hate
these days
this.
don't know that struggle.
I don't hate this game
know,
as
right?
much as a lot of people on the internet seem to. I like the little theme park vibe it's got.
I love it.
Yeah, I like that. I don't really care that the racing isn't hard. Like, I like the world around it, and there's a certain satisfaction to just merging with engine and shooting everything in sight.
Yeah.
I didn't come here for a difficult time.
People hate on this game for the wrong reasons, man. Like, honestly, I loved this game as a kid. It was stupid, dumb fun. And I also loved the platforming aspect of it. I loved that it was like a theme park that you actually got to go and walk around and do random stuff for and do stupid challenges and go play bowling and then maybe do some racing.
Yeah.
I loved that about it.
I really enjoyed
Haters
that too.
be damned. This game's good.
The people think that the dioramas are weird and awkward. I think they're hilarious, but also, I've got a kind of darker sense of humor, so
yeah,
that's
I thought
probably
they were
why.
pretty funny. I liked them as a kid.
I mean, they're a good
Just-
callback to like the classic Crash games, death
They're just
animations.
Yeah.
It's like, I like the fact that I could just stumble upon a Yeti that will eat Crash for 4 different occasions. It's amazing.
Yeah. But no.
I
Most
know
people
your
look at that and
weakness,
go,
bullets.
yeah, most of the Engine 2 side quest iconic, dude. He's like, I want to be a pretty ballerina. It's like, okay, Edgin, we'll do it, dude. We'll do it again. A game progressive for its time.
Yeah.
Don't laugh, Kyle.
Put that on the box.
If an hour ago when we started, I didn't think we'd be saying that sentence for Crash Tag Team Racing.
It's true. It's true. But no.
That's why I love this show. You never know what we're going to get.
Crash Tag Team Racing, honestly, I'm sad that I didn't think of it because I would have 100% been like, my man, dude. Because, yeah, I love Tag Team. It's great. It deserves more love than it gets.
I agree, man.
But no. For me, I'm just going to get this one out of the way because I have nothing to fucking add to it. It's Mortal Kombat. Why Mortal Kombat?
That was the other one I was looking at.
All right. This was like... All right, so I didn't have... My scope of fighting games doesn't go very far. This is the one that I had on the PS2.
Oh, okay.
You know, just kind of... And also, I feel like people don't talk about the... People kind of ignored the PS2 generation of Mortal Kombat, and it's depressing, because I like it more than what we currently get. Like, they added the 3D movement and made the actual, like, things you can do with the characters more interesting than just special moves on a 2D plane.
Mm-hmm.
I like that about it. I remember devoting many hours that probably could have been better spent to earning their stupid little currency to go unlock. It's so stupid. The way that the crypt in Mortal Kombat for Deadly Alliance worked is not only were these stupid little coffins with currency attached to them, but they were different colors too, and the ones that you would earn via your fights were random.
Nice.
The stupid ways they pad your playability in these games back in the day was real funny. At least they weren't asking me to spend actual money like they do these days.
Yeah, fair enough. No. I've never had an affiliation with any fighting games really. My first fighting game that I properly owned was Smash Bros for fucking 3DS and Wii U. Legitimately, I don't play fighting games. So I always find it interesting when people grew up with fighting games because I'm like, literally, it was something that was never in my house, like at all. Like I grew up with every other genre of video game, maybe bar strategy, but yeah, it's kind of weird that. Nothing like Mortal Kombat ever really clicked with me, or I didn't really grow up with it. So hey, interesting pick either way. Kyle?
I've never played Mortal Kombat.
Oh no, I was just saying which games do you want to talk about next, mainly.
Oh, Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. Okay. Why do you like Final Fantasy X?
Yeah.
I'd like right. Okay. Let me be fair. I know nothing of Final Fantasy X. All I know is stupid laugh meme. And
yeah, that's fair.
The people
less than stellar voice acting.
Yeah, less than stellar voice acting, and it seems to be a game that is a bit Marmitey that people either love or hate. So why do you like it?
So Final Fantasy X is by no means my favorite one, but it is also the only other Final Fantasy game that came out on the PS2 was 12, and I never beat that one. So, and I like the Final Fantasy series for the most part. It wasn't until 13 with the PS3 that I started ignoring it for a while.
Yeah.
So this is just one. I devoted a stupid number of hours to this game. I had a party that I could have totally fought the super bosses with if I had that version of the game. Mm-hmm. I did not have the international version of the game, and I was never motivated to make my party that good ever again, so 07s.
Feels bad.
But like Final Fantasy X, I don't know, there's something satisfying about I enjoy the progression system through the sphere grid. There's something cool about having a visual indicator of where all your characters have been. I like it a lot that way. The story is very questionable at times. They had a real good thing going, and then like 3/4 of the way through they drop it on its head. The main character, Titus, is less than stellar, but I don't hate him as much as a lot of people seem to. I think the worst party member in that game is Riku and Waka, in my humble opinion.
I agree. But fuck Waka. Waka sucks. Ethan, I need you to know somebody at Square thought it was a good idea to put a racist in your party.
Oh, great.
And say, I hope you like this character.
An overly religious racist, too.
Oh, no.
For the clearly corrupt religion.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it's
Praise be Albed.
Silly.
Praise be Yevon.
Albed for the machinist people.
Praise be to Yevon.
But yeah, So I just have a lot of vivid memories attached to this one. I even played it so much as like back in high school was my last playthrough of it, so it's something I continued to play when I got the itch to. You know, got a great soundtrack.
It does have a good soundtrack, I will give it that. I've played a very little amount of FF10. I own it. I've played to like the first Seymour boss fight, and then got bodied, and then said, I don't want to watch that cutscene again, and never touched the game. And that was in like 2017.
Fair enough.
And it's also the kind of thing where I'm like, I don't feel motivated to pick up the remakes or the HD remasters because there's still no skip cutscene button.
Is there not?
Yikes.
Apparently there isn't.
I wouldn't know. Literally my only experience with Final Fantasy, like everyone knows, is 7 Remake. And I'll pick up 16 when that comes out next year. But other than that, it's definitely coming out next year. But did you see that interview that they did this week? Where
I did not.
Oh yeah, Yoshida.
You think they're gonna rocket out Stranger in Paradise, Forspoken, and 16 all in the same year?
Well, they got asked the question. Yoshida, the lead on it, got asked the question of how far are they along in 16, and they were like, main scenario's done. We're wrapping up the side quests and we're polishing, so they're basically done. I think this is just a point where, unfortunately for Square Enix, they had a lot of games start development at the same time, so they're just gonna have a load of games released in the same year. Man. Which
maybe they were banking on their developers taking forever. Some more. Maybe
it was just one of those things where a lot of projects got restarted and they had a lot of problems where it was like remaking Kingdom Hearts 3 took so long that those games were kind of pushed, so that they were like, okay, if we're gonna have that again, let's greenlight a whole load of games, and they didn't have any problems, so they've all relatively came out. Also, Stranger in Paradise does not look like a game that they've spent 5 years on. It looks like a game that they've spent like 2 years on. So
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, because Stranger in Paradise is like what, March, isn't it? So yeah,
March 14th,
I can 100% see Final Fantasy 16 being in November, 100%. Because that's far enough away, and Forspoken's its own thing. But that's not what we're here to talk about. But no, Final Fantasy 10, fair enough. I'll allow it. I guess. Like, here's the thing is, Hunter's done a good job of picking 8 games that I haven't played and Crash Tag Team Racing. So why MGS 3, right? Why MGS 3 and not 2?
Well, I like them both the same, but I picked 3 because I think it stands a little better on its own.
Fair enough.
As a story. 2, mostly, you know, a lot of 2 is structured around assuming that you played 1 and then pulling a fun little meta thing with you, as Kojima likes to do. 3 is very much, it tells its own really, really good story, in my opinion. And it does enough variation with the gameplay to make it feel enough like its own thing that it's still fun.
Fair enough. Yeah. Hunters, I can guarantee, Hunter, you are going to have a much shorter interrogation session.
Oh yeah.
Than because
Oh yeah.
Like literally, no, it's not a bad thing, but it's like a lot of these games I genuinely have never even played.
There's not a lot of overlap with me and Ethan here.
Yeah, like at all. Like Silent Hill. Why Silent Hill 2?
Well, it's my favorite horror game.
Oh, just of all time.
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. That's why then.
So, yeah, that would be why.
We've solved the puzzle.
I feel like I recently replayed it, so there's that. I can say that to me, for all the reasons you play a horror game, it still holds up. Maybe not necessarily in the, the gameplay isn't that in-depth as far as you can just smack everything with the first piece of wood that they give you and mostly survive. But, it's... The psychological journey you go on with the main character is great. The atmosphere is unmatched. The soundtrack is fantastic.
No. Fair enough. Kyle? Pick one. Pick your poison, dude. Pick your poison.
Okay.
Which game are you a massive fan of? I'm a fan of all of these. Just saying. No pressure.
Tell me about Dark Cloud.
What is Dark Cloud? I've heard the name. What is it? Let's be real.
Yeah, probably because I've mentioned it a couple of other times.
Let's start from the very beginning.
Okay, so it's Dark Cloud was a very early PS2 game. I think it came out in 2001, like with, Metal Gear Solid 2 and DMC that year.
Okay.
But basically, it's kind of like a dungeon crawly RPG kind of thing where dude on the cover's town there gets destroyed, and you're going into the dungeon with his like magic glove that has a stone in it to collect pieces of the town that got scattered by one of the people.
Yeah.
Or it got scattered by, I think he's like the Fairy King in that game or whatever. Who, basically saved the town from being destroyed at the beginning, but had to like send him into the dungeon.
I'm not gonna make
but so the whole idea is going into these dungeons and recollecting pieces of the town that you're in and reassembling it to the needs of the people. I feel like this game would be a really solid loop if someone were to make a new one, because it's not too dissimilar from Hades, except for the fact that it's not a roguelike. Because, it's got the same loop of go into dungeon, come back, talk to people. And, if you do that with a charming enough cast and whatnot, it works really well. And for the time, Dark Cloud did that in an acceptable enough manner. Each little town had a cool arc to go with it. And the overarching story kind of was meh till the end, but, it will happen. There's a lot of quality of life things that going back to it are super kind of irritating, but like weapons have a durability meter, and when they break forever. And unlike in something like Breath of the Wild where that doesn't matter because you can just pick up the same thing off the ground, these weapons are upgradable, and it's very heartbreaking to be one level up away from upgrading to the maximum to the best weapon in the game, only to have it shatter forever and lose hours of progress to it. Not fun.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's just one that I've went back and played a whole bunch. It was one of those PS2 on PS4 games.
Oh wow, it was one of the two of them?
One of the dozen of those, yeah. That they decided to do, and I played it most recently, like when it did that, and I still enjoyed my time with it. I can understand why some people maybe wouldn't vibe with. It's a very front-loaded difficulty kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first part's the hardest, and then once you kind of get into the rhythm of things, it's easier.
Fair enough. Do you want to quickly talk about why you picked Devil May Cry 1 over the others?
Right. Well, the first game's still my
trash.
Two's trash.
Bad.
So nobody would pick that.
2's bad, and the enemy line.
You haven't seen my list yet.
It's very meh. Oh, that would be the hilarious thing. So the first game was the first one and only one I played for a really long time, and it just stuck with me. Dante spoke to me as far as the design went.
Of course he fucking did.
It constantly shows with just the way that I...
And you haven't taken his clothes off since.
Yeah,
we've told him, guys. We've told him between podcasts, you should probably take a shower and get out of those clothes, but he just doesn't. Hunter will never change clothes. Fun fact.
But,
Hunter's actually had that jacket since he was a kid, and it just grew with him. Yeah.
Hunter's been sitting in that chair ever since the podcast started.
It cracks me up that I'm not even wearing like the jacket that you could make this conversation about. I'm wearing the black one.
No, that's just the under jacket. You put the other jacket on top.
But anyhow, the first game's just always spoke to me. I really like the atmosphere of that one. It leaned more into, because it was originally a Resident Evil game, it had more of a creepy atmosphere than the other ones ever tried to do, because, by the time they got to 3, they just kind of went a different direction with it, so it's got a cooler, kind of more gothic vibe to it that I appreciate. Mm-hmm. The gameplay is more simple, but I still think it's satisfying,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fair enough. No, we've talked to death about Devil May Cry on this podcast, so yes, very cool.
We really have. And someday we'll get Ethan to play it.
No.
200 subs.
Fuck no.
Subs.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
So we talked about everything on the top pro. We talked about everything on... Have we just only got 2 games left? You are really getting out of this fucking easy, like scot-free.
Yeah, you are.
I don't know, man. Maybe you guys should play some of these and then come back to me.
Fine. Why have you given the fucking hack, fake, and a fraud Corey Barlog a fucking spot on this list with God of War 2? Like, that's the real question.
I actually do want to play the old God of War games. I just don't know how to find them.
Shoot, right.
There's
the
a
HD
remaster collection on PS3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that on
Well, that
PS
doesn't
now?
help someone
Is that on
without a
PS now with
PS3.
streaming? You could play it with lovely streaming input lag. You could do that.
Oh, well, anyway, the reason I picked 2 is because, like, as far as, like, gameplay and stuff, the only thing that 1 really did better than 2 was the story was better, because it was just kind of a straightforward revenge story, and I appreciate some of those. But, so 2's story suffered, but also God of War is not really a story game until you get to 4, so...
Yeah.
Like, the gameplay felt better, the, like, extra moves you could do and stuff were more enjoyable. The level design felt like it came together in a better way. Like, right at the end of the first game, well, the first game has this whole temple that sucks. Pandora's Temple is not good, and I can't think of a part of 2 that is that bad. It's a bit longer, but, you know, I still don't think it really suffers from pacing issues that much.
See, 2's always been an interesting game because, for those of you that don't know the history behind it, the PS3 was out. Or close to being out.
Oh, right, yeah, this game came out in, like, 2007.
Yeah, it was a year after the PS3 had come out, but this game was in development for that long that it came out after the PS3 release. They continue to just release it on PS2, which I always think is an interesting one. And it's often considered one of the best PS2 games, and I think it's funny that they released one of the best PS2 games after the PS3 had already released.
It's really funny that way, but
you don't really see that happen, like, really, from first party. Like, you ever see them come, like, the Nintendo of having Twilight Princess on GameCube and on Wii, or they do both at the same time.
Yeah,
it's very rare for you to
Wild
still
on
get
Wii U and Switch.
Yeah, it's very rare for you to get an exclusive only on the last one because they pushed the time, like the game got delayed or whatever. That's always an interesting thing.
Well, I mean, we're kind of at the point where it feels like the jump from one generation to another at the beginning isn't that big either, is probably why, where I feel like a PS2 game to a PS3 game was kind of a bigger gap.
I don't know. Have you seen early PS3? That's all I'm saying. Have you seen early PS3? It looks like
it is
PS2.
really ugly. I agree, but
I think people are just I think people always use that comparison because they're jaded from the PS3 to PS4 and 360 to 1. Because 360 to 1 and PS3 to PS4 wasn't a big leap at all.
Yeah,
it was a stumble. PS4 to 5 and Series X to 1 is a huge leap. That I don't think we've really seen the full potential of it yet because we're getting held back by these cross-title games.
Yeah,
people don't like. In terms of performance power, the PS5 and Xbox Series X are 10 times more powerful than the PS4 and Xbox One. So it's pretty big. It's just we haven't seen it yet because everyone's too busy still making games for the PS4 because there's 100 million of them out in the wild, right? Whereas back in the day, I think it was more the fact that back in the old generations, when a new console came out, it was basically, especially for first party, jump ship instantly. It was like
the only things that stuck around on the previous generation were sports games,
or like games like movie tie-ins like Monsters Inc. or something would be on PS1 and PS2. But yeah. So God of War 2. You see, my thing with God of War is I love God of War 2018. It's my one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely adore that game. I think it is one of those games where I'm like, it's nearly that game's the closest you can get to a perfect game in terms of how crafted it is, where I've not experienced a game that is that fucking flawless from start to end, that isn't like a Naughty Dog game where the gameplay's shite. So, you know, it's a pretty damn good game, but I've always been scared of playing the others because I'm like, the reason that I like God of War 2018 is the reason I don't think I like old Kratos. I was never a fan of old Kratos. I hated Kratos before God of War 2018.
Yeah, he's not great as far as, you know, his 2 is arguably the peak of his I'm gonna scream into the void Zeus arc. So, you know,
Miyagi.
Yeah, basically, but you know, like that's the one thing I said that 1 did better was the revenge story was much more straightforward and personal.
Yeah.
And then 2 and 3 were just kind of extensions of that.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, you probably wouldn't like the story of the first several games.
Yeah. Fair enough. But no, it is a hack and slash. I'm sure Kyle would find it engaging. Or he might somewhat like it.
I would love to play them at some point, like I said.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of actually finding them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you've got a PS2. The first two can't be that cheap. Or can't be that expensive. They're probably super cheap. It's not going to be.
I
like
also
trying to
haven't
find...
looked for them.
God,
Okay,
Kyle,
yeah,
just look, Fivehead. Just move. Just use your eyes. See, damn it.
These got the little...
Look with your special eyes.
These ones got like the greatest hits ribbons on their cases a year later, so you know it should be.
You know how that means
easy
they're
to
pretty
find
high.
$15 copy of them.
Ugly stripe. Ugh.
It's better than the platinums in the UK. That's all I'm saying. The grey boxes with the yellow fucking text. I don't know who came up with that.
Gross.
Monstrosity.
Dude, or how about the big green bars we got on PS1 boxes over here?
What did we get? We got silver. We got silver lines instead of green, which looked nicer, but not by much.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, I guess finally we're ending on the weird one. Tony Hawk's Underground.
Oh yeah, man, dude. So I mentioned this a year ago when I was talking about Pro Skater.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Tony Hawk Underground was the one I kind of grew up with more, which, you know, the like on a fundamental level, the gameplay is still very similar. You know, same controls and all that, but they added like a story which is very silly and very stupid, but it's silly and stupid for all this like skate punky reasons that you would expect a game like this to be.
In a world.
Like very much the end of the first area is you're running from the cops and you're like hitching a ride on the back of a car to like build momentum to jump a bridge or something.
Oh, I love when they do that in movies. 'Cause it's like, why does that make any sense? Like, why the fuck would like you see like the kid hanging onto the back of a car as if to go, "You'll never catch me, coppers." Oh shit, they have a car. They gotta catch me. It's like it's so dumb.
Okay, so I don't think the scenario was the cops were chasing you. They had like right now that I think about it, they had like barriered off the bridge, which was, you were trying to get to like the train station to leave for somewhere else. So you had to like jump a ramp that was next to the bridge. Or like one of the defining moments of the game is doing a McTwist over a helicopter between two hotels in Hawaii.
Nice.
It's just a bunch of stupid stuff like that. It's like very hype moments when you play them, especially when you're like, you know, 7 years old. And like, you know, like the soundtrack still sticks with me. Games that I've only ever heard from that, or I mean, songs that I've only ever heard from that game are things that I still listen to these days. So, you know. I like the character customization quite a bit. I could give my dude a skeleton face. That was fun.
Yeah, fair enough. But no, like Tony Hawk to me has always been a franchise, whereas I played little bits and pieces of it, especially the PS1 games, and I liked them, but I didn't ever own them, so I never really got into them. Because there are some massive Tony Hawk fans. Like, people really love that series of games, especially the older ones. And the new one. People liked the new remaster. But, like, PS1 to PS2 era Tony Hawk was very much the heyday for that franchise, and...
Yeah, it was like after Underground 2, I can't really tell you what happened with it, aside from eventually they made Pro Skater 4 for the PS4, and it was bad.
But no, fair enough.
Like, literally unplayable bad.
It was.
Oh.
People phased through the floors and stuff when you were like going up ramps and trying to come down to do whatever. They just...
I still can't believe Pro 5, dude. That was the funniest thing.
Oh, right, it was Pro Skater 5. 4 had already come out years ago. My bad.
Yeah, if you're on about the PS4 one, that was 5, and we don't talk about that thing. We don't talk about that monstrosity. It was awful.
No bueno.
Yeah. But no, there you go. There's Hunters 3x3. I say that you were risky with it. You were just risky in a way where I was like,
it was just risky in a way that you guys can't harass me for it because you haven't played any of these. You can't even harass me for my safe picks because you haven't played those.
No, but no.
That's true.
I'd say a solid list. If you guys have any roasts, leave them in the comments or tweet them at Hunter. Why not?
Please give us some backup.
Please give us some backup because apparently me and Cal did not come prepped. But hey, that's all about to change.
So, I mean, I couldn't even read the rules right.
Yeah.
So
the only thing that gets roasted is Crash Tag Team Racing.
Yeah. Oh no, that gets praised, right? That was the final piece of paper, and then just to prove that all three names were in here. The final
It'd be
person.
funny if Kyle's name
The
was
final
on
person
there again.
is. Oh, you ruined my joke. I was going to say Kyle, but it is me. I was going to say Kyle.
Oh God, it's Sam.
It's Sam who joins the call. Wow, what a riot. Ethan gets away with it once again.
It'd be funny to make a 3x3 for somebody who isn't here, just taking guesses.
Yeah. Right, so I want to say a few things before you click on it, right? One is I titled mine. Mine's like an art piece. It's called The Good, the Great, and the Ugly. And I do want to specify that I did go for more with memes. There's one in particular on here that is very much on there for the meme. And if you would like a serious answer after we've talked about the meme, I do have the serious answer there for a 9th game. Okay? So there we go. I'm just prefacing that because it's funny. Right. Okay. God, here we fucking go. Right. 3, 2, 1, click.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's on
Uh-huh.
Simpsons Hidden Round.
Waiting for them
Yo,
to
is
get...
that 2 games in one box, Ethan?
Spy.
We will-
Are we gonna fight?
No, because it's a bait. You guys take your pick from here. You guys take your pick from
Sure,
here.
Kyle, go ahead and address that if you want. I'll let you have the first pick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not an interesting one to start with, but if you want to start with it, we can start with it. Because it's a bit of a bait, but you can go for it. Do you want to take the risk? You can take it. You think you're fucking ready,
I'm
Punk?
just curious.
Think you're ready, Punk? Right. So obviously, if you look on the
Yeah.
3x3, it's
What the fuck is
it's in a
this?
CRT. It's actually.
Wait, hold on. Should you read your thing out first?
Oh yeah. So my list is Crash for Insanity, Lego Indiana Jones, Sonic Heroes, Simpsons Hit and Run, Sly 2, as we mentioned before, Ratchet and Clank 2, mysterious 7th box that includes Ape Escape and Jack and Daxter in a CRT with pixelated quality. I wonder what that one is. Spy vs. Spy, and then Crazy Frog Racer, which I will 100% agree I did put on there mainly just for shits and giggles, and I do have a 9th one for Crazy Frog Racer, but there is a reason that it's on there. So there you go. Those are my 3x3. I will now accept questions from the audience who have been very quiet. I'm surprised they did not latch on to Crazy Frog Racer and start beating the shit out of what the fuck that is, but we will allow it for
It
now.
looks like he'd be buddies with Abe from Abe's Odyssey.
Was Crazy Frog not a thing for you guys?
No, I never.
Right,
never
okay,
heard
well,
of this before.
that's why you guys didn't fucking laugh then. Okay, right. There's a story behind that one, guys. Right, where are we starting? You two, you're pretty quiet. Come on.
All right. Sure. What's Spy versus Spy?
Oh, okay, right. Spy versus Spy, right. This is one of those games, right? So the bottom 3 are like kind of wild cards, kind of weird ones. Spy versus Spy was a game that I looked up, and it's one of those games where I thought as a kid it was fucking cool. Then you look at what the reviewers thought at the time, and it's a load of shite apparently. But what it was it was a game where you played as a spy and you went into these like mission levels that were like kind of areas. So for example, the first level was a villa, and you had certain objectives that you had to fulfill to beat the level. And it was like you're basically a spy infiltrating someone's it's like a basic Hitman where you kind of go into someone's area, beat the objective, and then escape. And then there was an AI other spy who would try and fuck with you as you went about it. And you
Some could say this was the inspiration for Deathloop.
Yeah, some might say
was
it is.
just thinking
Deathloop. It's a good version of Deathloop. No, but yeah, the fun that I liked from this game is and you had a load of stupid items like dynamite and bombs and stuff like that. The main reason that you could fuck around with this, and the reason I liked it, was because there was a co-op mode where you would play Spy versus Spy and you'd fuck with each other in the map. So you would place the mines around and you'd do stuff like that. And that's why it was fun, was because every time my cousins used to come around for birthdays or Christmases or whatever, this is a game that we would play. So I have very nostalgic towards this game, even though a lot of people haven't ever heard of it. So it was just a load of goofy fun where you could like turn invisible and you could fuck with your friend. It very much was based off it was based off a comic from like a newspaper, but it was very kind of in that Looney Tunes era of they had like big mallets that they'd hit each other around the head with and shit like
fun
that.
Times.
It was very kind of 1960s kind of Acme, like cartoony kind of violence, and I really liked it. I don't know how the game holds up. I haven't played it since I was a kid, to be honest. It's probably pretty shit, but as a stupid kid, it was quite fun. It's just one of those games that I bonded with my family with. So yeah, it was a fun one, an interesting one that I knew that no one would have ever heard of, so I put it on there.
Very true. You
are correct.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
But
I've heard of the
catch my
franchise,
attention.
but I didn't know they had a game.
Yeah, it was for the PS2. Wow.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, it was. Can confirm.
In this list of PS2 games we're talking about?
Yeah, can confirm. Well, if that's the only patty you can come up with, then I'll take it. Next.
All right.
No pressure.
Since we already talked about it, you want to go to Sly 2?
It's just a good game, innit? I grew up with.
It is a good game.
I grew up with Sly. The order of games that I played Sly in was Sly 2, then Sly 3, then Sly 1.
Wait, damn, we both played 1 last.
Yeah. Well, it was because in my stupid head as a kid, I thought that Sly 1 was like a rare game that no one ever really played. Because I'd heard that it had sold 1 million copies, right? And in my stupid child brain, everybody plays every video game. So I was like, there was only 1 million copies ever made, and it's super rare. That was what my fucking stupid monkey kid brain was like. So I remember like bragging to my cousins. Again, Sly was a franchise that my cousins were also into. So I'm an only child, for people that don't know. So my closest to a sibling kind of relationship I had was with 2 of my cousins called Jake and Jared, who are my aunt's sons. And they're around. Jared was about the same age as me. And my cousin Jake was he's 3 years older than us. So we kind of grew up around the same age. So we bonded along similar lines for quite a few things. And Sly was one of the things that we both grew up with that we kind of liked. And I remember he used to mock my cousins about having Sly 1 because they didn't have Sly 1. And I was like, rare game, only 1 million copies. You fucking suck. I'm great. So that was that. The reason that I like Sly 2 is just because childhood nostalgia. It's the game that I grew up with the most. It's the game that I played the most. It's the game that I liked the most. It's the longest of the 3. I liked the worlds more. I didn't really like some of the stuff that they added in 3, which is interesting. So I know a load of people don't like the pirate stuff in 3. I liked the pirate stuff in 3.
I love the pirate stuff in 3.
The stuff in 3 that I didn't like was just like all the boring stuff. I thought the worlds that they did that were kind of normal Sly worlds weren't as good as 2. So like Octavio's world, I don't think is as good as any of the ones in Sly 2. The Outback level, I very much indifferent to. So on and so forth. But no, Sly 2 is just a very nostalgic game for me. I haven't played it in years. I think the last time I played it was like 2012, 2013. I've been meaning to play it again. But there you go.
Dude, you should.
Maybe I will. One day.
It holds up.
Maybe. One day. There you go. Next.
All right, Hunter. What's next?
Alrighty. Let's go to Sonic Heroes.
Oh, this game's
Really
shit,
one.
dude. I love it. You guys seen the PS2 version of Sonic Heroes? It's fucking awful, but it's the version I had, and it's the only Sonic game I've ever played. Other than All Stars Racing Transformed for the PC. Because Sam got me into that. Time trials for some reason. But yeah, Sonic Heroes is the only Sonic game I've ever played. To this day. Genuinely. For all the memes I've given.
Is that the one after the adventure games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
You had 4 teams. You had 4 teams where you had Team Sonic, Team Rose, Team Chaotix, and Team Shadow, and
Team Dark.
Yeah, Team Dark. That was what it was called. And I never played Team Dark. I literally only played the other 3 because Shadow was just shit in my head. I always looked at him and I was like,
"Nah, Shadow's cool."
Nah, he's shit. But no, Sonic was a thing that I never really got because, like, actually I lied. The other Sonic game I played was Sonic Pinball Party for the GBA. It was literally just a fucking pinball game. But it had Chow Garden, so I know what that is, and that's pretty hype. But no, Sonic Heroes it's one of those games where when you look at it now, it's kind of like T-Walk, where the game was really bad in terms of how it performed and how it ran and shit like that. But I just had a blast playing it. Which is funny because I never played any other Sonic games ever after that. I liked it, but then I never played any others after it.
Maybe the part of that's because when you got older and were able to realize, hey, maybe this wasn't so good. It never motivated you to ever.
I just never liked Sonic.
Ones.
Like I liked Sonic Heroes.
True.
I just never liked Sonic. Like Sonic's never done anything for me.
Like, Sonic as a character has never spoken to me. It's true.
No.
I also didn't grow up with anything really to do with Sonic. Like, I never had any of the Sega consoles. growing up. My dad had a Sega Genesis, but or a Mega Drive, as we like to call it here. I think that's the right one. Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, but I didn't even know about that until I looked in my attic a couple of years ago, and I found one, and I was like, wait, we had one of these? It was like, yeah, we had one of these. You didn't play it because we had a PS1 when you were born or whatever, but no, he did. Yeah. But the Sonic's never got he had a long time on Wii and Wii U, and I didn't own a Wii, and I definitely didn't give a shit about Wii U.
Yeah.
So
what was your options there? Lost World,
Sonic Boom.
So yeah, not really great stuff. And then all the good stuff like Generations I passed up on because I never really was into it. But Colors and all the weird shit was mainly associated with Nintendo at that point, and I just wasn't that into it. I don't know. Sonic Heroes is a game that I liked as a kid, but it was a very bad game looking at it now. Well, it's not bad. It just isn't very well made.
Sounds good.
Okay, you guys are really good in the host chair, guys. You really know how to keep a conversation flowing.
Sorry, man. I don't got nothing. I've never played Sonic.
I have nothing to say about Sonic Heroes.
You two suck. You guys should get some culture.
I've played like half of a story because my friend let me borrow it back in middle school, and I'm like, this game is just mid.
Oh yeah,
I have no thoughts on this game.
Yeah, that was your fault in 2006.
What in God's name is Team Chaotix, by the way? Because I can attach the characters associated with Sonic. Rose is his stupid girlfriend, and then Shadow is Shadow.
Yeah, so Team Chaotix was Gex, Chiramy B, and Purple Guy. Those were the names of them.
Gex was Purple Guy.
No, Gex is the alligator.
Gex.
From the PS1. Come on, guy.
Gex the gecko.
No, Gex the alligator from Croc. Am I right, gamers? Right?
Yeah. I've seen the alligator in the Olympic, whatever.
Yeah, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games featuring Gex from the PS1 in Croc and the Legend of the Gobos.
Yeah.
Yeah. With funky mode. Great game.
With funky mode.
And Knuckles.
Yeah. But there you go.
I imagine he was probably on Team Sonic.
No, he was on Team Gex. Everyone's on Team Gex. It's a great PS1 game. Banger.
Yeah.
Loved his appearance in Croc. Anyway.
God.
What next? What's next?
Kyle,
what's this mystery game at the bottom left?
Right, so it's very specific. The bottom left is the two games on demo in the two games on the PS2 demo that was in the I don't know what you guys call it. Like if you go, those like restaurant chains where they like have like a play area in them. Did you guys have these?
Yeah, we had some of those. Like for a long time, there was a McDonald's around here that had
McDonald's have them in
Mario
the US.
Power Tennis.
Yeah,
was on
here in the UK there'd be like two. There was one called Wacky Warehouse and there was one called Brewster's, right?
Hype.
Yeah, and I won't say which one it was, but most of the time you'd go in, they'd have like this play area, but they'd also have like a PS2 in like a stall that you could play games on. So I'd do that. And the reason that these are together, Kyle, is because I never owned these games, nor did I ever finish nor really play them. I just remember playing these games for 10 minutes at these kinds of places, and I have nostalgia for it because it's one of those moments like when we're talking about 9 kind of PS2 moments or whatever, it brings me back to that era of going to like a kid's place and seeing a PS2 there and playing whatever shite they had for 2 minutes because you were bored. Yeah. And that's genuinely how I saw Jack 1 as, oh, that's the game that they have at like the fucking game center thing at the restaurant. That's that game. They make that game. That's not a real game. Like I knew about Ratchet, I knew about Sly. Jack to me was just that game that was at the fucking Wacky Warehouse or whatever that I didn't have anything to do with, you know?
It's hilarious.
So that is the game.
It's just another one of those.
No.
That's fair, but it still sounds like a cop-out.
It's not a cop-out, because it's the 9 games that define me, and that experience defined me. Because it's an experience, Kyle. It's not 2 games. I'm not putting those 2 games on there as in going, oh, I can't decide. No. It's the experience of playing 2 minutes of a fucking random game at a wacky warehouse. That is my 9th game. Thank you. Well, 7th game apparently. Thank you very much.
All right, Ethan.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sitting here putting
right.
5 games in one slot and going, yeah, there we go. 5 whole games that I've completed are in that one slot. Fuck off, Kyle. Fuck off. You sit
time
there.
for my headphones to die.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Right.
Alrighty, I guess it's my turn. Tell me why Crash Twinsanity is so good.
It
See if I
isn't.
can actually...
That's why it's so good.
Yeah,
It's shy. That's why it's
That's
good.
fair. It's a very broken and unfinished game.
It's good for
in a lot of ways.
It's good for all the wrong reasons. That's why I love Twinsanity. It's a broken mess of a video game that should not have fucking been released. But that's why what makes it so good is how broken it is, and just the writing is excellent.
For me, it was still the most enjoyable post Naughty Dog Crash game.
Yeah, it is by far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's excellent.
without a doubt.
The dialogue is great, the voice acting is great. As a kid, I really liked this game just because of the whole personality that it had. The soundtrack, which is so unbelievably unique that no one has really ever replicated a soundtrack like that before.
Yeah,
and
the all acapella stuff that they...
No one's ever attempted that
a lot of
again,
fun.
really, which I think is an interesting kind of thing, at least from what I can tell. No one's really done it. So yeah. Crash Twinsanity is always just a fun one. And I'd recommend, if people haven't played Crash Twinsanity and are a Crash fan, go and play Twinsanity, because people know it's broken, but it's still a very good game. If you can get past its flaws and its glitches.
It's still a very enjoyable time, and it's like...
Yeah, and it makes me wonder what kind of game that would have been if it had been fully completed to what they wanted it to be. It's an interesting one.
It's super interesting. It is funny, though, thinking about how people tend to like this one more, and Tag Team Racing got like received a bunch of shade. And thinking about it, I don't think there were as many glitches or bugs in my memory as from Tag Team Racing.
No, Tag Team Racing is 100% the more competently made game.
That's hilarious.
But it gets more shade anyway.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it had its own personality. It's not quite the same as Twinsanity, and I do like Twinsanity more, like I said earlier, but yeah, I feel like people treat Tag Team unfairly.
Yeah. I agree. I have nothing else to say about Twinsanity other than people know already. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, Kyle, it's your turn to pick a game.
Okie dokie, Ethan.
Yeah.
Tell me about Mr. Indiana Jones.
Right. This is unpopular opinion. I think Lego Star Wars is a load of shite. This is why I put Indiana Jones on there. Because beta human beings pick Lego Star Wars. Alpha Chads pick Lego Indiana Jones. What a game!
Can I ask, as a curious inquisitor here, where Lego Harry Potter lands on this list?
Oh, it's mid, dude. It's mid. Better than Star Wars, but worse than Indiana Jones. Mainly because it had a glitch trophy list. And I saved all the students in peril. And it said I didn't. And I'm still furious about it to this day. Thank you for bringing up a fresh wound like that onto.
Oh, sorry. Are you telling me you didn't get the Solid Snape trophy then? Because it's the only thing I know about the Lego Harry Potter
Probably
games.
not.
There's a Metal Gear Solid reference in the trophy list.
But no, right? Like, I never really... Like, Lego Star Wars, pretty cool. I had 2, The Adventure Continues. Everyone knows that's the better Lego Star Wars game than of the 2 of the PS1 on the PS2. Everyone knows that the original trilogy is just better.
True.
But even still, right? I have memories with Indiana Jones, right? I'm not good with memories, right? Like, I don't like, if I remember things from my childhood, it's bits and pieces, right? It's not like full on memories. Whereas I have a full on memory for Lego Indiana Jones on the PlayStation 2. Let me tell you. So, more background for people that didn't know. When I was a kid, I was a child actor. So, I did a lot of stuff. I did a lot of West End touring performances. I did a lot of random stuff. I did a load of adverts, stuff like that. And we're going back to fucking play area. We're going back to play centres, kids. Salute, let's go.
Hype.
But I had an audition in Liverpool for a advert for a new one of these kind of centres that was opening. And I got a day off school for it. We were buzzing and we went and did it. And it was kind of interesting because the audition was just like, oh yeah, piss around in the area for a while, and then we'll see if you're any good at acting or whatever, and we'll move on. So we did that. We were in Liverpool. This is the only time I've ever been to Liverpool, by the way. Fun fact, this is the only time I've ever been. And I remember nothing about Liverpool at all. But, so we did this thing. It was cool. The audition went all right. And then my mum was like, okay, because you did such a good job, we're going to get you a game. And I was like, Lego Indiana Jones for the PS2. Get that in my basket. We're taking it home. And the reason that I have such nostalgia for this video game is because I remember sitting on the however long drive back home, like hours long drive, quite a few hours. I remember literally spending the entire time reading the back cover of
I
the
loved
game.
doing that.
And that's such a childhood thing. That is literally
going into the little manual. That's why I miss manuals.
A childhood thing is being like the game. Like I love the game as is, but the reason that it's so special to me is just that memory of sitting in the car on the way home, reading the back of the box. I still have that copy upstairs as well. But it's like, and I look at it and I'm like, there's not even that much there. But being so excited as a kid to just see it, like have a game and read in the box and just being excited to play it, not even knowing if the game's going to be good or shit. Just having it and going, oh, that kind of excitement, that kind of joy is the reason why it's on there.
Why, as a child, you were compelled to pick Lego Indiana Jones?
I just liked the look of it. Indiana Jones is a franchise that I have barely watched, but I've always been fascinated by. Like, I don't remember. I've watched all the films, but I don't remember when or where or why I was so interested in it. But my favorite Lego was always Indiana Jones because the sets were so cool. Everyone loved Star Wars, and I was like, nah, Star Wars is shy. It's just a load of ships and dudes with fucking sticks with translucent plastic on them. Boring. Whereas Lego Indiana Jones was like, do you want to build a massive fucking temple that has booby traps and boulders going down it? And Indiana Jones has a whip that you can hang him off of things and swing him for. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. That's the kind of Lego shit I liked.
Yeah.
And it was just cool. So that's probably why I was excited, because I liked the Lego sets as well. The actual Lego sets for Indiana Jones. Because it was way cooler. And it was like...
It's funny. I've never thought about the Lego games actually being like... And being in your decision-making for a Lego game being informed by actually playing with Legos.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. It's just never occurred to me.
Well, yeah, Star Wars to me was always the least interesting Lego set. I also liked Harry Potter Lego sets.
Yeah.
I had the Hogwarts Lego set, because of course I did. But it's like, I can always talk about random Lego sets that I liked. Like, I loved Indiana Jones, I loved Harry Potter. There was these sets of like underground like drilling like things called Lego Power Miners, I think, or something like that, where they're like little rock demon things that like a load of people were fighting. There was Lego Aquatica, I think it was called, or Lego Atlantis. It was one or the other. I can't remember. No, it was Lego Atlantis. That was it. Aquatica's the theme park, the water park in Universal in Orlando. But Lego Atlantis, where it was like massive squids and shit, all based off of like the hidden city of Atlantis, fucking great shit. And then you've got fucking normie garbage going, oh yes, I'll take the fucking X-Wing. No, garbage. Get some culture, kids. Get some fucking Harry Potter castles, some Indiana Jones temples, some Atlantis shit. Don't get that garbage X-Wing.
I'm sure it doesn't shock you to know that whenever I played with Legos, I was one of the chaos theorists who just shoved things together. Oh no,
I was ordered. Dude. I was ordered. I was ordered. Like, if you gave me a big box of Lego, I'd be like, where's the instructions? What am I making from this? I was very much an order person. The closest I got was I took bits and pieces of Lego figures to make my own Lego figures. Like, I had my own 11th Doctor Lego figure because they didn't make Doctor Who Legos, which I still think is a fucking tragedy that they never did, because that would have been money.
They do now.
Do they? Well, there you go.
I thought they did.
They did it for...
Or at least they did a few years ago.
They did it for that Doctor... They did it for that Lego game, the Toys to Life Lego game, but I don't think they've ever done, like, full-on sets
Lego
of it.
City Underground?
No, Lego Dimensions. That's the one.
Oh.
The one with, like, Batman and Gandalf in it.
Ah.
But by that point, it was Peter Capaldi's era, and I wasn't as interested in Doctor Who anymore. But, yeah. So that's why I Lego Indiana Jones is mainly because I love the Lego sets for Indiana Jones, and that memory The game's also very good. I 100%ed it, and it was on PS2, so there was no trophy, so I did it out of pure love for the game. I rest my case, Your Honor. Lego Star Wars is mid. Thank you.
That's why I counterpicked it in the draft. Yeah. Mid.
It is. It's so mid, dude. There's so many better Lego games, guys. Come on. Right.
Well, I guess it's my turn. So, let's go with the Simpsons one. Is that Hit and Run?
That's
or is
Hit
that
and
a different
Run.
One?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, you know, dude. If you had Hit and Run, you know. I didn't even like The Simpsons as a kid, but Hit and Run, what a goated game, dude. What a fucking excellent video game. Like, honestly,
I never had it.
It's so good. So it's
Yeah, I never had it either.
So it's basically a sandbox kind of car game where there's 7 levels and you get to play as each of the Simpsons and stuff like that. And it'd be like objective based kind of gameplay where it'd be like the first level is like you've got to go. Marge is like, Homer, you've ate all the fucking food in the house. Go to a poo, like go to the Quickie Mart and buy some shit. So you go and get some shit. And you do stuff. But then it gets wacky. You think, okay, that's fine. But then you've got stuff where there's a mission with Flanders where Flanders is like, Homer, I've lost like a load of personal belongings and I can't think about it. We found them. Have you seen any of them? And Homer's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And then his inner monologue, he's like, shit, I stole all this shit from Flanders and never put it back. And then you've got to race around the map on a timer to grab all of Flanders' possessions from around the map and bring them back. And it's like
you're saying this was a car game?
Yeah, it's a car game. So you're driving
around. Objective. It sounds like a very instead of skateboard. It sounds kind of like how Tony Hawk works with its objectives.
It's very much is like
it's very much
like
a
game, but with cars.
Yeah.
And it was just fun. And it was very much The Simpsons brought to life. And obviously it had a hit and run meter where if you ran over too many people, the police would come after you and you'd have to run away. And there was a load of
boy.
It's also quite a hard game. Like some of the time constraints are very limited. Like there are some levels that are really balls hard, but it's a lot of fun. And another memory of this game is my copy of this game was fucked. Where my disc must have had like a scratch in it where it would never load past level 3. So I've never played levels 4 through 7 of that game. I've only ever played the first Homer level, the first Bart level, and the Lisa level. They're the only levels I've ever played of Hit and Run because my game would crash. But it's that good of a game that the first 3 levels get on this list. That's how good it is. But no, it's really fun. I'd recommend it. It still holds up. People that say that they want a remake of this game, I can see why, because it's a very fun game. And if you owned Hit and Run, you know how good Hit and Run is. I feel like most people, if you owned Hit and Run, it would probably be in your 3x3 as well. Even if you're not a Simpsons fan like I was.
Yeah, alright. And I do believe that leaves just Crazy Frog Racer.
No, you haven't talked about Ratchet either.
Oh.
We got Ratchet also.
Okay.
Pick your poison.
Bad host, Hunter.
Bad host.
Well, we're saving Crazy Frog for last.
Well, I don't know why you're
Ratchet.
Ratchet 2 is the best Ratchet & Clank game out of the trilogy.
So is that one a Crack in Time then? Or...
No, Crack in Time is PS3 trilogy. I'm talking about OG trilogy, the PS2 trilogy. Ratchet 2 is called Locked in...
Wait, Rack had 2 trilogies?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Ratchet & Clank games
That's crazy.
Yeah, this is how many Ratchet games there are. Ratchet 1, Locked and Loaded, I can't remember what 3 is called. God, what is 3 called? Don't remember. Anyway, you got Impal.
Up Your Arsenal?
Yeah, Up Your Arsenal. Well, you see, in PAL, it's just called Ratchet 1, Ratchet 2, and Ratchet 3. They didn't have the subtitles here.
That's funny.
So, you have that original trilogy, and Deadlocked, obviously, is the 4th game. Then on PS3, we're not talking about the PSP spin-offs, but on the PS3, you had Tools of Destruction, Quest for Booty, Crack in Time, and Into the Nexus, which were the main 4. And then on PS4, you had the reboot, and then now you have Rift Apart. Those are the main lines. So there's quite a lot of Ratchet games. But no, to me, 2 is always the best one because it's, again, like many 3D platformers, it's the thing where it perfects everything that the first game did. It does everything that the first game did, but even better. And to me, 3 kind of... It's not necessarily more variety. I just like the weapons more in 2, and I like the story more in 2. I have to give a huge shout out to 3 for its music, because the music in Ratchet 3 fucking slaps. I also have to give a shout out for them having a boss an enemy in that game called Courtney Gears is a fucking excellent reference to pop culture at the time. And the boss fight music, if you've not heard the Courtney Gears boss fight theme music, do yourself a favor and go and listen to it, as it's one of the best fucking themes for a video game boss fight I've ever heard. It mixes everything that is 2000s pop into an epic boss fight music. It's sick. It's it's like 2000s pop as a boss fight song. It's great. It's absolutely excellent. But no, the reason I like 2 is just because it was actually the last of the trilogy I played. I played 1 first, then 3, then 2. So it's the opposite of the Sly. I actually played it in the exact opposite order that I played the Sly trilogy in.
That's funny.
But Ratchet 1 to me was always too basic. Ratchet 3 I liked, but Ratchet 2 was that perfect space where it just had such cool worlds. Like there was like the spaceport one where you're literally just on a space station. I used to just spend time like making up my own stories. Ratchet 2 is a game where I don't know if you ever did this as a kid, where you'd beat a game and then I'd just start making my own stories up.
You just start running around the levels and making up your own stuff. Yeah.
Like I'd
Yeah.
where I'd made like the space station level in Ratchet 2 was like Ratchet's home base or whatever, and that's where he'd always go and talk to people. And then in my head, he'd go and be like, "Okay, you need to go to this planet and do some stuff." And I'd go to that planet and make up my own stories. And that's why like that game has a lot of memories to me, is because not only is it a great game, very well made game. I don't even think I finished Ratchet 2 as a kid. Like I think the game got too hard near the end. That's one of the problems I have with Ratchet 2, is it's too hard at the end. It's fucking balls hard. But it was that good that I was like, fine, I'll just never finish the game. I'll make up my own stories with the worlds that I have already. And it's just like,
screw you guys, I'm going home.
So yeah, it's just I love Ratchet 2. I've been a Ratchet fan since the first game, but Ratchet 2, Crack in Time are the 2 games that really hit me. Like I actually truly love. The others I like, but those 2 are the 2 that really love. So yeah, Ratchet 2, very good game. Also, the proto pets are cute. I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're like these little fuzzy monsters that the whole game's about. They're like little blue furballs. They're quite cute, and they kill everything on sight. Cool. It's pretty cool.
Oh, amazing! They're like Metroids.
Yeah, basically, they basically are Metroids. And also, it has a villain reveal at the end, which I think is fucking hilarious, and it's very good, very good.
Like gasp.
Yeah. There you go. That's Ratchet.
Very cool. I'm only familiar with the PlayStation 4 game and the one that just came out, so I can't really add anything.
Blasphemer.
I have never played a Ratchet game.
Fucking blasphemer. Get them out of here.
So I have actually nothing to add to this.
God fucking damn it. You guys
I'm
are fired.
sorry.
You guys are fired. The only reason we could talk about cows so fucking much was because he went that safe that he'd already talked about nearly all of them on the podcast already. So we were like, yeah, let's go.
There were also at least a couple that there was a little bit of overlap with his and what we had played.
Yeah.
I've never, barring Twin Sanity, I've never played any of these.
Yeah, okay. But to be fair, like, a lot of these, people as kids would have played, who are our age, would have played nearly all of these.
Yeah,
I'll give you Spy vs. Spy
and
Crazy Frog Racer. I'll give you those 2, okay? Those 2 I was literally picking for shits and giggles.
That's actually one of the coolest things about the PS2 generation to me, is how eclectic, the reach of it was.
How much fucking shite shovelware there was. I agree, Hunter. I agree.
I meant more like how, for some people, that generation was defined by, the adventure platformers like Sly and Ratchet and Jak and Daxter, but for somebody like me, it was defined more by, Final Fantasy and Devil May Cry, you know?
Mm.
And Crazy Frog Racer, yeah.
Yeah, let's get to that. What's up with that one?
Right, well, I'll tell you what the real game is.
Enlighten
I'll tell you
us.
what the real game is. If I hadn't put Crazy Frog Racer as a meme, I would have put Guitar Hero 2.
You see, I was almost expecting a Guitar Hero game to pop up here.
Guitar Hero 2 would have been the other one, because Guitar Hero 2 is my favourite of the original 3 Guitar Heroes. I played World Tour on PS3, or else it would have been World Tour. It is on PS2, but I'm not cheating like that.
Nice.
Because I'm not Kyle, and I'm not playing games on one platform and then going, oh, it was on that one too. Like Devil May Cry. You faking a fraud.
You want to dive into specifics? Devil May Cry, Okami, and Katamari.
Okay, there you go.
Oh my god, that's a 30-year list.
This guy hardly fucking tried.
And all 3 of them are on the Switch. Fun fact.
Yeah.
But no,
Katamari's on the Switch.
Yeah,
But
1
yeah.
and 2, I believe.
Cool.
But for
Guitar Hero.
Yeah, but for Guitar Hero 2, it has my favorite soundtrack of the original 3 Guitar Heroes. I didn't even play 3, to be fair. Only 1 and 2. And I just really have strong memories of 2. And it's a really good game. It also has Freebird. That's the one with Freebird in it. So it's like, of course, that's like iconic.
Wow. Freebird. Amazing.
Game of the year.
Yeah, no, it's just that's just like I'm not even like a massive fan of that song, but it's like the fact that game ends with like an 8-minute gauntlet of a song is like
They must just like doing that because Through the Fire and Flames is like a 7-minute song too, and that's what 3 ended with.
Yeah,
I don't know. We never had 1. We had 2 for a little bit, and
you see,
3
all
was
I
the one that
remember was the first song in Guitar Hero 1 is I Love Rock and Roll. That's all I remember about that fucking game. It's the first song.
the Joan Jett song.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's like that's the only thing I remember about it. Whereas 2, I don't even remember many of the songs of 2 either. But I just remember I think was 2 the one with Sweet Child of Mine in it. I think it was. Let me have a look. We're gonna look it up. This isn't even on my list. This is my backup. If I didn't make a meme of Crazy Frog Racer, but we're gonna look. We're gonna look it up. Whichever one.
We still haven't heard anything about Crazy Frog Racing,
Maybe
by the
you
way.
never will. Maybe you never will. Who knows?
I want to say it was because it's one I heard on Guitar Hero, but I know it wasn't on 3.
List of songs in Guitar Hero. Let me look up. Can't Hold Me Now, Carry Me Home. Carry On Wayward Son was on here. Yeah, Freebird.
That's a good one.
Message in a Bottle. Fucking, I remember playing that one.
Message in a Bottle.
Yeah.
Hype.
Yeah, Sweet Child of Mine. Yeah, it's this one. God, I love Sweet Child of Mine. That brings back nostalgia. But yeah, to me, it was always Guitar Hero 2. But yeah, I don't know if we'll never do a PS3 one because Cal didn't have a PS3, or we'd have to bring a guest on. But I also loved World Tour. World Tour had Paramore on it.
Sorry.
It had a load of good shit. So
World Tour had Lacuna Coil in it.
yeah, it had Spiderwebs in it. It had La Bamba in it, dude. What a fucking bop, dude. I've changed my mind. World Tour's getting on this list. I don't care. What a fucking bop.
And Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, yes. What a banger, dude.
What I've Done by Linkin Park. It had
yeah, it's World Tour, dude. Fuck it. 2, get out.
the 30 Seconds from Mars song that everyone knows. Bury me.
The Kill.
Yeah.
Kill me down, bury me.
It had a BYOB from System of a Down.
Yeah, dude. Hotel California, dude. Hotel California.
Everlong.
What a list.
From the Foo Fighters. It was a really good list. Like, I've never thought about it because World Tour was one that I only ever had in passing.
You see, World Tour was that good that my friend got it for his birthday, right? And he got it like as a birthday present, and like we were sleeping over his house the night before, and I remember literally waking up and he unboxed it and we literally played it like all fucking day. What a great game. It was that good that him owning that game made me go to my parents for my birthday. I want World Tour, give me that fucking game. But they got it me on PS3 but it's also on PS2 hilarious. And its soundtrack slaps. Fuck off Guitar Hero 2. World Tour, baby.
I don't think I appreciated it. I don't think I appreciated World Tour as much.
I don't think
like
people appreciate World Tour as much as they should. Everyone always talks about 3.
I think my musical taste these days is opened me up to like I didn't know who Lacuna Coil was back in the day. I haven't really heard anything besides I'm blanking on the name now. Chop Suey from System of a Down. So a lot of those things I have more of an appreciation for now. It's funny. Yeah,
man. And when I think of it, the first time I will have ever have heard Paramore was in Guitar Hero World Tour, which is interesting because that's like one of my favorite bands of all time.
3 was my first exposure to Rise Against, who are one of my favorite bands. Yeah. So yeah.
God, what a time to be alive. Guitar Hero, dude. What a way to find artists. What
a moment in time.
What a moment in time. What a fucking vibe. Yeah.
And it was like right as soon as the Tony Hawk games died. Guitar Hero.
Fuck you, Kyle. Get a Guitar Hero game. You didn't grow up with World Tour.
I'm not good at rhythm games.
Yeah, well,
neither was I. To be fair, the reason that like Guitar Hero never vibed or was never something I like think about beyond I heard some things back when people were playing them was because I didn't play it that much. It was more of just kind of being around my siblings who got better at it. I never learned more.
See, Kyle, here's the thing, right? until Rock Band 4 for the PS4 that I bought on a whim because I saw a load of Twitch streamers play it, and I was like, I'm buying this because I missed it. I never played above medium with the 4 keys. I never learned how to move my hand up and down the actual guitar because I was shit. So I loved these games just playing it on easy and medium, dude. That's how much these games are good, dude. That's how solid these are.
I like it.
But yeah.
Did you ever get the Rock Band games? Like,
no, Rock Band 4 was the only Rock Band game I've ever had, which was the latest one.
After my siblings' fascination with Guitar Hero, my parents decided to get Rock Band like the next Christmas.
No,
I don't know. There was something about it that didn't vibe as much with me. It felt like it had less personality, I suppose.
Yeah, 100% has less personality, but it also was the original devs of Guitar Hero. They moved on to do Rock Band because Activision owned the license to Guitar Hero, and they didn't want to work with them anymore. They wanted to own it themselves. Yeah. But yeah, World Tour, man, what a banger! What was my actual pick?
Guitar Hero. Your Crazy Frog Racer was the one. That's
that game's absolute shy, dude. That game's like.
What is the deal with it? Is it just a?
Right, what you want to know? What
Please explain.
You want to know what Crazy Frog is? Right, journey on back.
Yeah.
Everybody who is from the UK that's listening to this podcast is like, I remember Crazy Frog. Do you remember Crazy Frog? Then you're pretty cool. What a hip young person you are if you remember Crazy Frog. Right, back in the day, you'd have adverts, right? And like, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, when you had your mobile phones that were a recent thing, you could like text numbers to get ringtones. Do you guys remember this? This was like a service where you text a number to get a ringtone.
I want to say that I remember hearing like ads for it, but I didn't have a phone. I
wouldn't do it. Yeah, I didn't do it.
Never did it.
But I remember seeing the adverts, and one of them was Crazy Frog, which if you go and look up Crazy Frog, is the most annoying shite on the planet.
Yes.
Right. So I remember always seeing these stupid ads, right? And here's a fun fact: back in the day, there was a controversy with Crazy Frog because originally he had his knob out, and it was like he had a little tiny knob hanging out that you could see all the time as he's riding his invisible motorbike. He's a blue frog that rides a motorbike and has motorbike gear on and had his penis hanging out, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't demonetize us, YouTube. Oh wait, we don't get paid. Fuck you, YouTube.
Oh wait.
But anyway,
you, buddy.
So of course it was an annoying ringtone. Buy this ringtone. I think one of my parents' friends did it as a laugh because we saw it so many times at their house that he bought it because he was like, "Lol."
For the memes.
Yeah, this is. I think he's actually my godfather technically. I think.
Wow.
I think. Yeah, because I think it is the same guy. Because he also used to like. He was kind of like the crazy uncle where, he used to throw us into like swimming pools, but when I say throw, I mean like yeet, like not just like
Right.
He was the uncle that used to go, let's do a fucking like 360 no scope top of rust. If I miss the pool, he's breaking his neck kind of throw.
I was just imagining him lifting you up and like doing a shot put spin.
Yeah, he did do the shot put spin. He did do the shot put spin. He was literally
amazing.
And we'd literally go fucking flying up into the air, down. We get like a 10 out of 10 Olympic dive from it. And then you think we'd be traumatized, but we just like, again. Like,
Adrenaline's a funny thing.
But anyway, back to Crazy Frog, right? So he always used to be adverts before like X Factor and shit like that in the UK, where you'd have Crazy Frog, right? And obviously he rode around on a fucking invisible motorbike, penis hanging out until they censored it. And then obviously someone looked at that and went, we've got a racing game on our hands here, boys. So
well, he had a motorcycle.
Yeah, so I don't know how I got this fucking video game. I don't know how. I don't know where it came from. But I'm not the only person. Because I remember telling my friend Fraser about this. I was like, I had this stupid game called Crazy Frog Racer. And he was like, no fucking way. I also had Crazy Frog Racer. So there are people out here that just have this game that don't know how they got it or where they got it from. But they own it. And it's shit. It's absolute garbage. It is the worst, like, controlling kart racer you've ever seen in your life. And it is literally just a frog riding an invisible bike around a really shitty track, and the drifting's awful. And it's terrible.
Ah, yes.
But the reason that
it was
I love
the M&M kart of its time. Yeah,
it's probably better than M&M kart, to be fair. But the reason that I love it is because it's like the epitome of what the PS2 era was. Right? where everything had a fucking game. Everything had something stupid.
Yeah, this is
right?
like a regional mascot for commercials.
Yeah.
It's not even a thing that's actually marketable.
Yeah, and it got a kart racer.
It's
And here's the
hilarious.
funny thing that I found out. There's a sequel to this fucking game as well.
What?
There's a Crazy
what?
Frog Racer 2 in the world, ladies and gentlemen. I did not own Crazy Frog Racer 2.
Crazier frog.
And I've heard it's shit. I've heard it's even worse. Let's have a look. Crazy Frog Racer 2. Yep. What did it come out on? It came out on the PS2 as well in 2006. Just like God of War, it was a late game. This is how much is known about it. It doesn't even have a release day on Wikipedia. They just know it came out in that
hilarious.
year. It was also called,
Amazing.
it was released in the US. It was called Crazy Frog Arcade Racer in the US.
Arcade racer.
Yeah, but you only got
Amazing.
2. You didn't get the first one. It was a European and Australian only video game.
Wow.
And this
I can't believe they would take this from us.
yeah, and this is how much is known about it.
I'll never forgive them.
This is how much. This is how much is known about it. I'm going to read the entire Wikipedia page. You ready for this? Crazy Frog Racer is a European and Australian only video game developed by Neko Entertainment and published by Digital Jesters. A year later, in 2006, a sequel was released entitled Crazy Frog Racer 2. Gameplay. Players race as the Crazy Frog, an animated character. Reception. Crazy Frog received generally unfavourable reviews with an aggregate review score of 28% by Game Rankings for the PS2 release. That's it. That's all that's on the Wikipedia. It's 3 fucking sentences. But no, it was garbage.
Amazing.
It was garbage. It controlled like ass. It had that. This is the pinnacle of gameplay, right? It'd have one of those things where it'd have like a big steep drop where you'd think, oh, it's time to, you're gonna go shooting down really quickly. Because the physics was so shit, you'd just fly off it and you just drop.
Oh.
You wouldn't follow the track. You'd just fucking drop.
You would just go.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
You just fucking drop away from the track, and you saw the track going down, but you weren't going down with the track. You were just falling next to the track because the physics were that shit. They didn't attach you to the thing. And it was one of those games where there weren't they were like it has 9 tracks, but really it was 3 tracks, and they just used to block different sections off each time, so the laps were technically different. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. Amazing.
But yeah, it was such a shit game. But the reason I put it on my list was because it's the epitome of PS2 games. Like, that is what the PS2 generation was known for, was shite like that. You know? Because it's got as much as
so Ethan.
Yes, Kyle. What?
I was gonna say, well, if you're gonna finish that thought, and then I'll ask my question.
No, I was just gonna say, because for all the good shit that's on the PS2, it's considered a very decent console. It also is one of the most shovelware-filled fucking generations that I've ever seen in my life.
Like, yeah, that and like the Wii are the 2 that come to mind.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and the DS also.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Cal?
All right, so can you explain to me why on the cover of Crazy Frog Racer, the Crazy Frog is being chased by the mutant offspring of Kingpin and the Pyro from TF2?
Oh, nice. I would have mixed Dr. Eggman in there as well, to be honest, but you're right. That's
Honestly, you could put a lot of stuff in that mix.
That's the robot that's chasing him, the Crazy Frog. He's like the
That's
police.
a robot?
Yeah, he's a police robot who
Well, it doesn't
chases
look
the
like a
Crazy
person.
Frog. Yeah. He chases the Crazy Frog as he's going down as he's doing his stupid jingle. And it's like he's off. He's going off. The Crazy Frog's going, and he's like the other playable character in the game. There weren't many playable characters. It was one of those games where they had like Crazy Frog, the robot guy, and I think everything else was just shite that they had to make up on the spot because there was only 2 characters in the Crazy Frog world.
Fixed Rillaroo.
Yeah, fixed Rillaroo again. But no, if you wanted my actual list, then you can take Crazy Frog out and put Guitar Hero World Tour there. Or 2. But yeah, I had to mention Crazy Frog Racer because it's one of those really stupid niche things that no one would have ever heard about. Like I say, a kart racer based on a ringtone advert that was only played in Europe and Australia before the X Factor got its own racing kart spin-off video game for the PlayStation
Amazing.
2 that has 3 sentences about it on Wikipedia. If that doesn't describe the PS2, I don't know what does. But hey,
Hard to argue.
there you go. I guess there are random tastes in, or awful takes on PS2 video games. I don't know what to call it, but hey, there you go. Over 2 hours. Fucking hell. This is
Yeah,
why we
man.
do
This.
3x3s. You do be eating when you do a 3x3 episode.
Yeah.
And hey, if you want to see more of these, we've got like 6 million consoles or genres to do, so I'm sure we can pull this out.
Very true.
Do you want us to get guests on while we do it to make it 2.5 hours? We could do that.
Baby.
I thought it'd be interesting if
Do you want to be a guest on an episode?
maybe. No.
We're open to suggestions.
I do think it'd be
We
interesting.
need ideas.
I do think it would be interesting if we ever do bring a guest onto the show to maybe make them do a 3x3 of the games that define them or their favorite games so that we can criticize them on the podcast. We don't do it. We just, if we have a guest episode, we can just have them do it.
We
so
already
can
did
judge
an
it.
episode like that, but it was just 4.
Yeah. But this time it'll be more. But yeah, if you want us to do some more stuff like this, let us know in the comments below. As always, our links are on screen right now. You can go and follow us on Twitter, do all that shenanigans, keep up to date with everything that we're up to when we're not on this podcast every week. But if you just want to keep up to date with everything about the podcast, you can go to at Hot Gamers Only on Twitter, go and give us a follow, or subscribe to us at youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only. But if you don't want to see our stupid faces every week, you can listen to us on your favorite podcast services. Just search for Hot Gamers Only, head to the link tree, where you can find us on your favorite podcast services like Spotify and Apple Music. And yeah, with that, I think we're done. It's been a long one, a big boy. I can't wait to edit this tomorrow.
Chungus.
Yeah, not gonna be a pain. But no, it's been fun. Thank you all for hanging out with us this week. We'll be back next week for Metroid Dread, I believe.
Yep, that does come out next
The
week.
Dread is here. So look forward to it, or dread it. It's up to you. Whichever one suits you. But yeah, we'll be back same time, same place next week for more. But until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.